Well, Merry Christmas, everybody. Welcome into a special best of holiday edition here of Three Man Front. We wish all of you a very, very Merry Christmas from myself, Pat Landrum, Molly, and the rest of the Jocks crew up here. We really do appreciate all that you do for us, supporting us throughout the year, and we hope that you have a very Merry holidays. So I'll be here with you today until 2 o'clock, kind of guiding you through some of the highlights here of recent three-man front, and a lot of it, of course, going to center around what's going on in college football and the college football playoff, of course. So let's start you off on this Tuesday, the day before Christmas Eve, and let's revisit some of our recap, our instant reaction to Alabama and Oklahoma. Alabama, the 34-24 win last Friday over the Sooners there in the first round of the playoff. They're moving on to play the Rose Bowl against Indiana, but it certainly was not an easy path for the Tide as Oklahoma gave them all they wanted and more, and Alabama had to make a heck of a comeback. So this is from yesterday, myself, Pat, and Molly giving you some of our reaction to Alabama and Oklahoma.
Alabama, big win against the Oklahoma Sooners. You know, Conrad, last week you told us that you just want them to win one game, just one game in the college football playoffs. So your Christmas present has been given to you, so I don't want to hear you gripe and complain whatever happens moving forward.
Now I'm greedy, Pat. Now I want more.
Did he not say that,
I want
Molly?
more.
No, he did. I
all
can
he said,
find the tape.
He goes, I just want to win one.
Just one. That's all I want.
I just want one win in the college football playoff. Well, you got it.
Win.
Now he's going to be greedy.
No, I'm happy with the one win, and whatever happens, this is what I was talking with my friends and family about over the weekend. You're playing with house money now. You got one win. You seemingly secured your coach from going and looking at potentially greener pastures, and now you've got a chance to go play the number one team in the country. So I'm happy. Whatever happens, I genuinely am happy. I'm excited for the game on New Year's, but one win was a lot. It's a lot better than finishing your season with back-to-back losses and what looked like for a minute was going to be back-to-back blowout, embarrassing losses.
Yeah, the emotional roller coaster that is Alabama football. There were so many text strings, so many people texting me back and forth. One,
please don't read our text over the air, Pat.
No, I'm not going to read the ones that you sent me. Now, me and Molly had a text string going, and we were worried about you.
I asked for a wellness check on you.
Yeah,
after that
when we were
quarter.
more concerned.
Yeah.
Landrum was chiming in on some stuff. So
I may have sent some text out of emotion to Pat during the game.
I was thinking.
I said, has he cracked open the bourbon yet?
No, I thought it was more liquor. I didn't think it was emotional text. I just thought it was drunk text. That's what I thought he was getting.
There's a little bit of that. But it turned into
But then it was a
celebration. That's
yeah,
right.
It was a celebration of the football team.
Absolutely.
And then you woke up on the floor.
That's right. And then I woke up in the phone. No, I woke up just fine the next morning. It was funny, though, because I woke up later than normal. And I think Hastings had texted me and said something about the game. And it was, how are you feeling this morning? I'm hungover. And it was like 7:30. And I woke up at 9:30. And I was like, well, that tells you how bad it was for me. I had to sleep a little bit on Saturday.
I'm anxious to see. I have not been able to procure any of the early television ratings, but I would imagine that that's going to be a very well tuned in game.
Yes.
On Friday night between those two teams, as Alabama overcomes a slow start down 17-0. They were able to battle back, and this is the way it sounded on the Oklahoma radio network. This was the play that basically kind of turned the tide for Alabama.
Mateer's got it. They drop out. Quick throw intercepted.
Oh, no.
Down the sideline, Zabian Brown, one man to beat, and he beats him. It's a pick six. Zabian Brown, pick six, has just turned this game on its head. Zabian Brown had the 99-yard pick six against Tennessee, and he does it to Oklahoma, and Alabama is an extra point away from tying it up.
Well, obviously, Connor Talty did not miss the extra point. Good for him.
Best kicker in the playoffs, Pat.
He is 8 for 8 since he got booed when he missed that Eastern Illinois kick.
I can't believe y'all were so critical of him. I've never had my doubts about Connor Talty,
No,
so
not at
shame
all.
on y'all.
Yeah, he's up to 68% now in his accuracy. He went from 61 to 68. Anyway, they tie at 17-17, and from that point on, you could tell Alabama played with a different emotion, especially the defense made some really nice adjustments.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. The fact that, and really a lot of it was, you couldn't get pressure in the first half on John Mateer. You start getting pressure on him, and he starts making mistakes. He starts, making some errant throws, things of that nature, and that really did go a long ways for Alabama. But the thing that kind of impressed me during that game is something we've talked about this year that Alabama just doesn't seem to really have the ability to do. Is it did feel like, and at least for me, right? Even when it became 27-24 late and Oklahoma scored to make it a 3-point game, it just felt different watching Alabama on Friday. Like it felt like, oh, that's a team. They're just going to go down the field and score and make it a 10-point game again. And that's exactly what they did. But it felt like for maybe the first time all season, they actually kind of laid the kill shot on somebody, right? It felt like they sucked the soul out of Oklahoma late in that second quarter. And then once things got started in the second half, that was very impressive to see, to get down 17-0 and not only come back and make it a game and ultimately win, but to kind of feel like you dominated the game when all was said and done. I thought that was really, really impressive. And in a lot of ways, it reminded you of the first time they played this year. It was just the roles were reversed. Oklahoma gained more yards, but they had the special teams errors. They had the turnovers. Alabama didn't. And so even though you got outgained by 100 yards on the road in Norman, you somehow walk away not with a 2-point win, but a double-digit win. Very impressive.
Well, the defense, the adjustments that Kane Womack made was really impressive, especially after they tied at 17 all. Oklahoma only had 126 yards of total offense in the second half. I mean, the adjustments were big. The 5 sacks for Alabama in the game was not only the most that Alabama has had this football season, but you got to go back a couple years. If I'm reading my notes right, I think it was back at Texas A&M a few years ago, in which they were able to get that many sacks. Yeah, 2023 against Texas A&M. That was the last time Alabama had 5 sacks in a game, and it couldn't have come at a better time because once you started putting the pressure on Mateer, as you mentioned, he started making those mistakes that was just driving the Oklahoma fans crazy.
Yeah, and if you listen to Womack after the game kind of talking about, how they made adjustments and things over the course of the game, Alabama likes to play a lot of zone defense, right? Like that's kind of his bread and butter, how they've done things the last 2 years. And, he made the comment, and you kind of saw it a little bit on the Xavier Brown play that led to a pick six, but where they started to change from that to man, and that's where they started to have more success in man coverage because, Oklahoma wasn't really expecting that because that's not what Alabama typically does. But you saw getting more bodies on those receivers made it harder for Mateer to kind of have to thread the needle, and he just wasn't quite able to do that. But you also, and I thought John Mateer overall played a solid game. He wasn't great. He did make some mistakes. The pick six was terrible. But, I mean, again, I think if you're an Oklahoma fan, you just go back to when you're up 17-7 and you had an easy touchdown that got dropped there. And, I mean, it would have been 24-7. Who knows if Alabama could come back at that point, but maybe it would have had a different outcome of the game. So there were missed opportunities from Oklahoma as well that, plays that you got to make come playoff time, and they weren't able to make them.
Yeah, and there was a couple of times that Alabama missed some opportunities. Ryan Williams once again dropped a big pass in the game. You had a non-pass interference call against Isaiah Horton, which, again,
ripping his jersey off.
There's just some things that happen on both sides of the ball, but that's football. I mean, that's what happens.
There were probably a couple false starts you could have called on Alabama that they did not.
Yeah, so that's just the way it goes. But Alabama gets the win. It was interesting because, as I mentioned, Connor Talty, since being booed, he's 4 of 4 on field goals. He's 8 of 8 on extra points. But meanwhile, the guy that I vote for the Lou Groza Award, and I voted for the Oklahoma kicker because, in my opinion, he was outstanding all year long. But my goodness gracious, when the chips were down and they needed him, he came up 0 for 2 on some field goals that was really the game changers in the game.
Yeah, it was shocking to see him miss. And again, that's what you're going to remember, right, is what happened last in the mistakes. But to see him, and we heard so much about the wind. We talked about that on Friday, right, of how problematic that could potentially be. And all he does is go out there and kick a 51-yard field goal in the first quarter, and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, this dude's not going to be bothered by it. And, the first one he missed, right, even I think on the call, Chris Fowler, they all thought it was good, right, because it went right over the upright and just barely missed it. But, yeah, it's unfortunate. You feel for the kid. Obviously, he was very emotional after he missed the second one. But, again, if you're an Oklahoma fan, I think you have to look at Sandell and go, we wouldn't be in the playoff if we didn't have you. So you've got to kind of, maybe hold back some criticism. But no doubt shocking to see. Kicking was really poor as a whole this weekend across all of the games. But to have the best kicker in the country come up short and Connor Talty play the hero a little bit was not something I think many people had on their bingo card for that game.
It was the Tide's largest comeback since they beat Ole Miss 48-43 in Oxford back in 2016. They were trailing 24-3 in that game. So the Tide is able to come back, get the impressive win. Let's hear from Kalen DeBoer in regards to his thoughts after the game as the Tide gets the big win out on the road, 34-24.
Couldn't be more proud of these guys. the resiliency. It's been kind of a theme all season long, but showed up tonight in a big way on the road, down 17, and coming back the way we did, just one score at a time, and just really stayed the course. Each side of the ball had their moments and big plays, and we just kept plugging away. But it's last night we talked about it being a team that's going to have to come out here and play together, and that's exactly what I saw tonight. And so couldn't be more proud of these guys.
That was Kalen DeBoer after the game. It's interesting, and I'll let Conrad kind of go a little bit deeper on some of the impressive stats now that's been updated on Kalen DeBoer. But DeBoer becomes the first head coach to win a college football playoff game on the road. He is now 3-1 versus top 10 teams at Alabama. And over the past 4 years, DeBoer is 7-2 versus those top 10 teams. And his teams have had to come back in 5 of those games to get a victory. But just impressive numbers. Now you know why Michigan and Penn State wanted to try to grab him from Tuscaloosa.
Well, and that was the funny thing with the narrative, right? Is you have all of these media, and we talked about it last week, right? People are trying to create this story and give something to talk about and push the narrative, and it is what it is. But immediately after the game, you had all of those same people like, oh, if Alabama loses, you need to watch out for Kalen DeBoer in Michigan. That could be a real thing. They immediately start sharing all these stats about how great of a coach Kalen DeBoer is and how, oh, if you're Alabama, how could you ever want this guy to leave? So as an FBS head coach, so between his time at Washington, Alabama, and Fresno, he is now 20-5 versus ranked teams. I'd say that's pretty good. He's 20-5 against ranked teams, 8-3 against ranked opponents at Alabama, and this is the most impressive one to me. In his coaching career against top 10 teams on the road, he has never lost. He is 4-0 against top 10 teams on the road. That's pretty good. And I said it this morning, right? If you're an Alabama fan that was on the fence going into Friday, hopefully now you're on the other side of that fence. And if you're an Alabama fan that was already bought into Kalen DeBoer, you have to feel really good getting this win, a really good step forward in his second year. And like we talked about, doesn't seem like Michigan is going to be don't think that's happening now.
It's a very interesting list that we will discuss a little bit later in the show, but it is Reaction Monday. We want to hear from you, 1-800-239-WJOX. Let's get right to the – well, actually, we just lost a caller or two, but we are here live, 1-800-239-WJOX. Love to hear from you. Also, the Courtesy GMC text line, 205-834-9450. Bottom of the hour, we'll talk to Nick Kelly. He was there in Oklahoma. We'll get his thoughts on the Tide getting the big win. At 11:30, Trey Wallace will join the program. At 12:15 is the official Rose Bowl press conference. Now, Kalen DeBoer will be doing it via Zoom in Tuscaloosa. We will try to let you listen in on that at 12:45. Trying to get my times right, Pacific times and East Coast times and all that stuff. Do the math. Signetti is going to be at 12:45. So DeBoer's at 12:15, Signetti at 12:45. That's the official Rose Bowl press conference. So we hope to bring you as much of that as we can on a very busy Reaction Monday.
Well, flu season is here, so make your home healthier with Trane's Clean Effects Home Air Cleaner. It removes up to 99.9% of airborne particles, including those that cause virus, is 100 times more effective than standard air filters and 8 times more effective than HEPA room filters. So go and find a dealer near you at Trane.com.
So we are live today. We will not be here the rest of the week as we'll be celebrating Christmas with our families. Some of us will be traveling. Others will be having family come here to Birmingham. But we'd love to hear from you on this Reaction Monday on the game itself, the upcoming matchup with Indiana. We've got transfer portal news to tell you about. We've got the rest of the college football playoff bracket that has now been settled for the quarterfinals. All that straight ahead.
Welcome back into Three Man Front here on your Tuesday before Christmas. I am Conrad Van Order here guiding you along. So we will be off the rest of the week. We'll be back with you on Monday, though, as we start ramping up and getting ready for the quarterfinals and New Year's of the college football playoff. So we just let you hear a little bit of our thoughts, the reaction to Alabama and Oklahoma. Alabama's comeback win last Friday in the first round of the CFP, and a big part of that game going on outside of it was Kalen DeBoer and the interest from Michigan as they try to hire a new coach, and a lot of media out there trying to circulate and cause the stir of, if Alabama had lost to Oklahoma, then maybe Kalen DeBoer was going to be out the door and the fan base would run him off and he wanted to go to Michigan anyways. But certainly doesn't seem like that is necessarily the case anymore. So this is what we know the latest on Kalen DeBoer and those Michigan rumors, as well as some other headlines from around the college football world.
Alabama, big win, 34-24 over Oklahoma. I was listening to one of the Oklahoma postgame shows that our friend Tyler McComas, he is the afternoon host there at KREF Radio, and they did a postgame show. And needless to say, they were pretty shell-shocked, especially when you go up 17-0 at home in that environment, and then you end up losing.
I was about to say, and for them, I mean, let's just be honest, Oklahoma's had a rough history in the playoff. They're now 0-5. So they've been there a handful of times, but they just can't get over that hurdle for whatever reason may be. And now, on top of that, you have suffered the two worst losses in playoff history because you had a 17-point lead in 2017 over Georgia. They came back and won that game and obviously played for a national championship against Alabama. And then on Friday, you once again blew a 17-point lead to Alabama. And, that's a tough pill to swallow. They had a great year. I think a lot of people would agree Venables did a great job, exceeded a lot of people's expectations with how difficult their schedule looked. But, yeah, that's a tough pill to swallow. It's going to sting.
Well, one thing is for sure, anytime you do something on social media, I mean, and we're guilty of it too, you have to understand that just because you go and delete something doesn't mean that it's gone.
Oh, screenshots are easy to take.
And so as Alabama fell behind 17-0, I was very quick to do some screen grabs of some of college football's supposed intelligentsia.
Yes.
You know, the group of folks that want to jump on television and want to scream and yell about the SEC and how Alabama didn't deserve to be in the college football playoff and all that fun stuff. Let's start with Nicole Auerbach. She tweeted, Alabama picked up right where it left off in the SEC championship game tonight. Just not a good football team right now in any of the three phases. She deleted that tweet.
Oh. Well, surely she went back and made a tweet later about, what a impressive performance it was to come back from being 17 down and
I mean, she had some things of positive nature to say about Alabama, but it was interesting because some folks just like me, they grabbed screen grabs and they said, "Hey, Nicole, why did you delete your tweet?"
What she said was true at the time.
And then she says, "Well, do you not understand what live tweeting is at a sporting event? It changes." But then why did you delete your tweet?
I was about to say you don't go and delete it.
All right, Brandon Walker.
At least he likes the SEC. We know that.
From Barstool, he tweeted the following: "It's a rout. Oklahoma gonna kill him. DeBoer killed Bama football in just 2 seasons."
It is rich coming from a Mississippi State fan as well. But
Stuart Mandel from The Athletic. Is it possible to sub in Notre Dame at halftime?
I subbed in Alabama at halftime. It worked out well.
Tyler Horka, who covers the Fighting Irish, he spent 3 years covering the Mississippi State Bulldogs, so he knows SEC football. He writes for, I think that's Irish Illustrated now. He said, Alabama is getting steamrolled by an Oklahoma team that was booed by its home fans in the last 2 regular season games in Norman. This is the Crimson Tide team the College Football Playoff Committee decided was a more deserving of a spot in the field than Notre Dame. Ha, 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 ha. He did not delete that tweet, by the way.
Well, good for him. Credit where credit's due.
I respect when they don't delete it.
I was about to say, if you're going to say something, stand by it.
Yeah.
Even if it's wrong.
And then we'll finish up with Brett McMurphy. Maybe he's still pissed that he did not break the college football playoff bracket 30
I think
minutes
that's it. Yeah.
before like he did last year.
Mm-hmm.
He says, unlike Alabama, at least Notre Dame had the decency to opt out of its bowl game before kickoff. Because Notre Dame didn't want to play in the Pop-Tarts Bowl because that was below.
Well, it's just funny that you're almost giving credit to Notre Dame for doing something that we all agree was cowardly.
Yeah.
Because at least, well, we don't have to watch them play like Alabama.
And that just gives you a small snapshot of what social media of the college football intelligentsia was taking shots at Alabama, SEC, College Football Playoff Committee, how wrong they got it.
Well, and I just go back now, you add in what happened on Friday night and Saturday morning with some of the media people, and you go back to Selection Sunday with the playoff, and really just the last 3 weeks. There's a lot of people out there that have shown their bias, I guess, against the SEC, and you can see there's a lot of people out there that just aren't happy and they just don't want the SEC to be successful, and just for whatever reason, they just can't seem to convince themselves that the SEC is the best conference or that they belong in the same conversation as the Big Ten, and those people have shown their true colors in the last 3 weeks.
So how many packages do you think that they had to change and delete for Saturday morning's College Game Day about Michigan and about Kalen DeBoer going to head up north and be the next head coach in Ann Arbor? How many of those segments did you think that they had dedicated?
I'm going to guess at least probably 3 that they had to go back and shuffle around or completely remove and replace with something else.
Mm-hmm.
I would think that was...
It ruined their morning.
I was about to say, halfway through the second quarter, that is your lead story on Saturday on game day.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's not.
No doubt. Reading the Michigan people, I mean, we had Sam Smith on. He's the publisher of Michigan Insider, the 247 site for Michigan. He told us last week that it was absolutely Kalen DeBoer. And then, you know, if Alabama loses, because most of the people believed, and it looked pretty good at one point, 17-0, that Oklahoma was going to take care of business.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, these people were foaming at the mouth. I mean, they were like, oh, yeah, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. We're going to talk to Nick Kelly coming up in about 10 minutes from now. And, you know, I was communicating with Nick when he was in Oklahoma, and I was communicating with a lot of people around the Southeastern Conference just because kind of get a feeling for what the tea leaves were saying before the game in regards to Kalen DeBoer. And once again, from the Alabama perspective of things, people were not very concerned. They felt really good about, you know, whether they won or lost, that Kalen DeBoer was going to be the head coach of Alabama. Now, might have been a little bit different boots on the ground in Oklahoma just being around the team, but from the people that I talked to that was still back in Tuscaloosa, they felt pretty strong that Kalen DeBoer was not going anywhere, no matter what happened.
Yeah, even if they lost, if they had lost 28-7, like they did in the SEC championship. Yeah,
but it was one of those type deals where Michigan is so arrogant. They're like Notre Dame. They believe that they can just bat their eyelashes and everybody's, you know, ready to jump on board. Yep. But, you know, and we're not going to spend a lot of time on this, but I do want to point out something that was made of light this morning by Bruce Feldman from The Athletic. He's done a really big piece on Sharon Moore and what actually happened behind the scenes. If you remember back, Sharon Moore issued a no social media challenge in August with the hashtag locked in. But Moore's own interactions with women on social media made some uncomfortable and raised concern with school officials. Now, I'm bringing this up because whether you're Kalen DeBoer or Kyle Winningham or Eli Drinkowitz or now Josh Heupel, because Heupel's now rumored to be in the mix for Michigan, any of those guys that potentially would go there, do you think that Ward Manuel is going to be your boss?
No.
Because The Athletic spoke to more than 20 people, including current and former staff members, players, school officials, and women who interacted with Moore on social media. They paint a picture of a coach who became increasingly volatile before his firing and the subsequent arrest. Moore would break down sobbing in staff meetings. He would lash out at other coaches. According to 3 program sources who witnessed the behavior, he was seen eavesdropping on closed-door meetings inside the football offices. One of those people said, and fellow staff members became concerned about his mental state.
So he's just paranoid.
So you got all these people in the athletic department in the football office building. They're saying, hey, there's something going on here. There's just something not right with this coach. I mean, Feldman goes on and lists in this article all these women that he started following on Instagram. And then, like, he would send them a direct message.
In the middle of games sometimes.
Well, one was like an hour before kickoff against Purdue. And then as soon as he would wrap up some post-game press conference, he's back on social media sending fire emojis to some chick. But again, anyway, so if you're a coach, you want to go work for the athletic director that is putting up with all of this. Like, you think that guy's going to have a job?
No.
But anyway, they thought they were arrogant enough that Alabama loses, and it's so awful to be the coach down here in Tuscaloosa because we're all crazy. And that, the moment that he loses, folks are ready to run him out on a rail. Yeah. Would there be criticism? Absolutely. Because that's how high we take our football down here. But for people to think that they were ready to just run him out of town immediately, that was not the case.
Well, the most asinine part was the people that thought that Alabama was going to fire him after a loss.
Oh,
Not even the fact that the fan base was going to run him off because of how frustrated they were, but that Greg Byrne was going to look at him and go, yeah, you know what? College football playoff in year 2, you're done. We're not interested anymore. That was the most ridiculous part of that. But again, they needed to stir up a story and have something to talk about, and they got a few days out of it, and now it was a bad Saturday if you're Michigan, because not only does Kalen DeBoer win, but Kenny Dillingham signs that piece of paper on his desk, and now you're
begging Jeff Brom to take the job.
It reminds me a lot of the Penn State search.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to sit there and tell you that Matt Campbell is the greatest coach ever and that they loved him and that was their number one candidate all along, and he was not. And that's the boat that Michigan is now in.
And by watching these other coaching searches, why do you think Alabama did not have the appetite to go looking for another coach?
Oh, absolutely not. Why would you want to?
It's amazing. All right, let's get some phone calls before we get Nick Kelly on at the bottom of the hour.
Yeah, let's go to Samuel. He wants to talk Alabama, Oklahoma this morning. How we doing, Samuel?
I'm doing good. I was actually on vacation on a boat watching the game.
How was the crew and everybody on the boat? Were they excited? Were they happy?
Both fans were pretty nice to each other. There was one lady who gave out pizza only because the game was tied. I don't think she would have done that if Oklahoma was losing.
Now, did you sense no one got in fights? Well, did you sense the security? When it was 17-0, did you sense that security was watching the balconies and making sure that folks weren't getting too close to the edge of the ship?
Probably, I would say so. But once those really good things happened, that fumble, that terrible kickoff, that was amazing. We won, so yippee.
How do you feel about the Indiana matchup, Samuel?
A little worried.
They're good.
They're very good.
They're really good.
I hope it's a back-and-forth game and not just a blowout.
Yeah, I think we all agree with that, Samuel. Thank you for the call. We appreciate you chiming in this morning. Yeah, hopefully it'll be a little more competitive for some of the games that we got over the weekend in the quarterfinals. Let's go to Greg in Athens. He wants to talk Alabama, Oklahoma. How we doing, Greg?
Hey, good morning, guys. And it's really nice to be able to listen to you live as a school teacher. I have to catch you up on the podcast, but I wanted to say I think that the Alabama-Oklahoma game is really indicative of the need for teams to be able to adjust on the fly. Alabama was running a marathon where I think Oklahoma was in a sprint, especially in the first quarter. And I think that this game also indicates that the team that can get more pressure on the quarterbacks, even if it's not sacking them, it's disrupting timing and throwing. That makes all the difference in the world, guys.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. The games certainly seem to change, and we appreciate your call, Greg. Once Alabama was able to get more pressure in the second half and make life a little more difficult for John. And again, we know, right, he's been injured. He hasn't been 100% all season long, but certainly was pretty comfortable early on in that game and not so much in the second half.
Nick Kelly, who covers the Alabama Crimson Tide for AL.com, he is going to join the program next.
Three-man front here on your Tuesday before Christmas. Conrad Van Order here with you as we recap some of the highlights from three-man front, get you ready for the holiday season. A reminder, we'll be back with you on Monday to get you prepped for the college football playoff and the Rose Bowl specifically with Alabama and Indiana, and we can't wait for that. But hope everyone has a very, very Merry Christmas and enjoy our interview with Nick Kelly from AL.com.
Let's go to the Higginbotham hotline. Joining us now from AL.com, covers the Alabama Crimson Tide. Nick Kelly joins us here on Three Man Front. Nick, how was the trip to Oklahoma?
Uneventful. I mean, there wasn't much that happened. I'm just kidding. No, it was crazy.
I loved your
but it was a lot of
selfie
fun.
with you and 50 Cent. That was really cool. You and 50 Cent getting that selfie after the game.
That didn't quite happen, but it would have been something if it did. It was crazy because I think a lot of people generally thought it was just being played over on the field, thought it was just some music over the speaker, but lo and behold, he was there. So it was, I mean, between that and the pregame with the drone light show and of course you got the horses, it had pretty much everything you could want in a pregame and just festivities around the game type of scenario. So props to Oklahoma. It was quite the atmosphere.
Well, that was my next question is you've covered a lot of really high important Alabama football games. Just the atmosphere itself, is it right up there with one of the best ones you've seen as an opposing venue for an Alabama game?
Oh, no doubt. I mean, it reminded me, it felt a lot of ways like the Georgia game. It really did this year in Athens. I mean, just a raucous crowd. Obviously, there was more on the line in this game, but, Georgia, of course, wanted to beat Bama badly. And, I mean, just a great environment, packed crowd, just a really intense environment, loud, hostile. It reminded me of that game a lot. And in some ways, just because of the spot in which Alabama has been. Like, going into that Georgia game in Athens, Alabama, its best win was Wisconsin. It was fresh off that Florida State loss a couple weeks before. You just didn't know if this was going to be a good Bama team. And they pulled it out and showed that they're really legitimate. And in a similar way, Bama had been on that downward trajectory all of November. And then they, of course, had that tough loss to Georgia in Atlanta. And then this game, they kind of reannounced themselves again. So it just felt some parallels to that game. But to answer your question, it definitely was one of the best road environments I've been a part of just because of the stakes.
So, Nick, and this may be an easy question just because it was a playoff game, and obviously that's a big moment to pull off a win there. But would you say that based on what you saw on Friday, was that the most impressed maybe you've been with an Alabama team under Kalen DeBoer, just given the circumstances on the road down 17, and you find a way not only to come back and win, but win by double digits?
Yeah, it's definitely up there. I mean, I still think going to Georgia and beating Georgia in Athens was probably the most impressive win to me so far because, I mean, Georgia's a good team. They just don't lose in Athens. And obviously more at stake here. And with Alabama being down in that massive way, I mean, yes, I don't know. They're tied for me, if you will. I got to think about that one. I'll get back to you on that.
In regards to being down 17-0, and listen, we were all there at the SEC championship game, and we all huddled up at halftime trying to play, Monday morning quarterback, trying to figure out what Alabama could do in the second half to make it a ball game against Georgia. When it was 17-0, were you getting those same looks from your peers there in the press box that cover Alabama? Like, oh my goodness, here we go again.
No, because you weren't there, so that was a big difference. But no,
that's true.
No, I think we were having some of those discussions like, gosh, what do you do? Because obviously season's going to end if they didn't figure it out. And I think again, naturally, some people were saying oh, make a quarterback change because that in a lot of people's heads and minds is that hey, something's going wrong, change the quarterback. The backup quarterback's always better than the one who's not playing well in people's minds. So. Obviously there were those questions, but I mean, again, I just didn't think it was a tie problem. He made some throws that the receivers didn't catch. And to me, it was maybe you can change something, but I don't think changing the quarterback was going to accomplish anything. And Ty showed that that was correct. I'm not trying to pat myself in the back here, but I just didn't think it was a tie problem. But yeah, it wasn't working. And I think what shocked me more than anything was the fact the defense gave up what it did, because to me, I didn't think the offense was going to have an easy time at all. I figured it'd be tough. I didn't see the defense essentially getting run over like that early on in that game. So that to me is the biggest shock. Once the defense adjusted, gave the offense to get back on track, and the offense started cooking, and it worked out well.
So what do you have to say, your thoughts, Nick, on Latsier Brooks and his performance? Because he's somebody that, fans had gotten used to this year. And we remember he had that great catch on fourth down against Missouri that was able to extend that game and led to a victory there. But that was kind of his big moment. Hadn't found the end zone yet, had kind of been, had some games where, maybe 50 receiving yards was a factor, but not kind of that go-to guy. And then he has his breakout game with 2 touchdowns on Friday. Just how impressed were you with him and what he could provide for this team now moving forward to facing Indiana? It looks like he could be a real big-time threat for them.
Yeah, good timing on it, frankly. They needed it. And like you said, Connor, I mean, he showed flashes at times during the year. And I think that you back to camp, I mean, there was some serious optimism about what he could do. And I think, was he hurt in camp a little bit? I can't remember correctly, or I can't remember completely. I think there was a certain time where he was a little banged up. But, yeah, I mean, there was some excitement about what he could do. And just, I think there was that video from practice where he just, like, totally broke the DB's ankles, making a cut that I think got some folks excited. And so you knew there was some potential there. And you knew that, of course, he's wearing 17 and people are, like, making Waddle comparisons, and I'm not sure that that's fair either way, but like, yeah, I think there was legitimate excitement about what he could bring, and you saw it at times in glimpses, but then in this game with perfect timing, he really shined when they needed it.
Talking about shining at the right time, and I know that a lot of folks, we do this every day, and we take a lot of criticism from fans. Pete Golding, he experienced that. Kane Womack has experienced that as the defensive coordinator, because everyone believes that an Alabama defense should be like the 1992 defense, just being dominating and giving up only about 8 points a game, and that's just not the way the game is played now. But I am impressed with what the adjustments that Kane Womack made in the second half, only giving up 126 total yards. They limited Oklahoma to 2 of 8 on third down. Just your thoughts on what the difference was for Alabama to get those 5 sacks and to really put the pressure on Mateer.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a defensive guru or an X's and O's expert, so I can't give you the breakdown that maybe some of your colleagues could that host a show before you every day. But I would say that I think the biggest thing is they got pressure. That was something that was lacking early on. So they figured out how to get pressure. They figured out how to affect Mateer because, I mean, once they got after Mateer, he couldn't do much anything, but when he was just sitting back there picking them apart, like, he made it look easy. But Kane did talk about how much they knew there were going to be some wrinkles, and they just kind of had to ride them out and adjust to it. And their tendencies that Oklahoma had shown in other games, they changed it up on just about every down. So they really just had to figure out, okay, what are they doing now? What are their tendencies? And make those adjustments. And I think that helped a lot. And then, of course, they could see some ways that they could maybe disguise coverage and obviously bait Mateer into that pick six. And so there were some things that they just had to pause and just absorb what was happening, take that information, and make adjustments.
Nick Kelly from AL.com joining us here on the Higginbotham Hotline here on Three Man Front for a few more moments. So I wanted to ask you, and it's kind of about Ty Simpson, but it's maybe more so about the team as a whole. Just watching that game, Nick, and really, the final 3 quarters or 2.5 quarters, however you want to look at it, not only was it impressive they were able to come back, but I think something that's given people optimism, maybe looking ahead to the Indiana matchup, is it just felt like this team kind of got their mojo back. And at one time, it felt like they had kind of just taken the soul out of Oklahoma football. And that's not something we've really seen from this Alabama team a whole lot this year. Did you kind of get the same feeling watching that game on Friday, and that this is something that going into Indiana, making no doubt about it, this can be a tough matchup, but it felt like Alabama had their swagger back for the first time since that 4 or 5 game stretch back in October?
Yeah, I mean, there was some fire. I mean, there was some legit fire that you saw from Ty, and I think some swagger that from the offense that you hadn't seen in a bit, and it really was impressive. And frankly, it carried over into the postgame press conference where Ty was, I think he was feeling pretty good. And for good reason. But, he talked about, like, hey, thanks for the doubters, the haters kind of thing. I'm paraphrasing, but that was kind of the thanking the writers in the room and the media in the room for giving him some fodder. So, yeah, I think there is a confidence and a swagger that you could sense that both the offense and the defense had in that second half. And heck, when you go on a 27-0 run, if that's what it was, if I remember correctly, like, I mean, why not have some swagger? That's not easy to do against most teams, much less an Oklahoma team on the road in a defense that is really legit.
Wrapping up hour one here of the Tuesday before Christmas edition of Three Man Front. Conrad Van Order here with you. We're about to hear from some of your calls here in just a moment. But before we did wrap up the first hour, I did want to remind you that we do actually have 3 bowl games going on today on this Tuesday. So if you are off of work, out of school, what have you, you have some football that you can enjoy starting here in just a couple of hours, actually. So starting off today at 1 p.m. on ESPN, you're going to get Toledo and Louisville in the Boca Raton Bowl there. So 2 8-4 teams there. Louisville, 11.5-point favorite heading into that matchup. Then at 4:30 on ESPN this afternoon, you've got Southern Miss and Western Kentucky facing off in the New Orleans Bowl. Southern Miss there, a 1.5-point favorite there over Western Kentucky. And then your final bowl game tonight, you're going to get to see Dan Mullen in action at 8 o'clock on ESPN as his UNLV Rebels will be taking on Ohio, who they've currently been going some little bit of drama up there with the firing of their head coach as well. But UNLV and Ohio, they're going to face off in the Scooters Coffee Frisco Bowl. That is, again, at 8 o'clock tonight. UNLV, a 6.5-point favorite in that one. So let's wrap up hour one here with some of your calls from Alabama and Oklahoma reaction right here on Jocks.
Let's go out to the great state of Texas. Our next caller joins us here on Three Man Front.
That's the wrong line. Mike, how are you doing this morning, Mike?
I'm doing well, gentlemen. How are you all?
Doing well, Mike.
Fantastic.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Roll Tide, by the way. Had the blessing and the opportunity to go to the game Friday night, and it was just incredible. They do a great job there at OU. I did not get to go when we played them in the regular season last year, but of course it's one of those bucket list places, and they do a great job during the game. And the OU Sooner fans are just fantastic. They were fantastic all night long, even when the wheels came off on their team. So it was a great job. They do this running box score in one of the end zones, and it's very, very helpful to see how the game is actually progressing. And, it looked really bad early, and then we started catching back up. So they did a really good job. My thought on all of this after seeing this game in person, and I was at the Tennessee game as well, so every time I go, Xavier Brown takes one to the house.
I was about to say, we need to send you to Pasadena then. Okay.
Actually, and I got a text from a friend of mine during the game, and I said, well, they're going to have to pay me to go to Pasadena, but I'll do it if they want me to. So I think from what I could see from this game and how I've been watching all year, I don't care about any other team in the playoffs. I only care about Alabama. If they play 60 minutes of football, which they have not done yet, but if they play 60 minutes of football, they're going to beat anybody else. And they're that good. So I don't know how we get them to do that, gentlemen, but that's what needs to happen here.
Well, listen, thank you for your phone call. Thank you for listening out in the great state of Texas. Conrad had a great time last year, despite the outcome of the games.
Oh, I mean, it's a fantastic venue, and the fans are great.
Yeah, they sure are.
Welcome in here to Hour 2, Tuesday before Christmas, three-man front holiday edition. Conrad Van Order here with you for the next 3 hours. And again, if you're just now joining us, we do truly, truly appreciate each and every one of you, our wonderful listeners here at Jocks, for all that you do for us each and every year. And we're hoping that you all have a very merry holidays. We'll be back with you live, the whole crew, on Monday as we get you set for the quarterfinal round of the college football playoff. But while we're here on this Tuesday, we're going to mix it up. So Hour 1, you got a lot of Alabama, Oklahoma, and first round of the playoff reaction, as well as you got to hear from our conversation with Nick Kelly. But now in Hour 2, we are going to let you hear some of what we talked about with Trey Wallace, getting his thoughts on the really the totality of what's going on in the coaching world, as well as the first round of the playoff. We'll have that coming up in a little bit. But this hour, we want to have a little bit of Christmas fun. So we're going to revisit some of our fun Christmas-themed conversations here, and a lot of them inspired by you, our wonderful listeners, on the Courtesy GMC text line with all of your wonderful creativity and ponderings there. So a little bit of Auburn football talk sprinkled in here, but this is our take, our conversation from a week ago on SEC Christmas parties. If you're at a Christmas party and an SEC head coach shows up, what do you think they will bring with them?
Lots of texts rolling in, 205-834-9450. A lot of them centering around Michigan, Sharon Moore getting fired, and then who potentially is the coach. Also, a lot of movement as far as coaching staffs in the SEC and filling out those staffs. And already you've got Alex Golesh continuing to do work today. Tim Banks, former defensive coordinator at Tennessee, expected to join that staff, and others, Damian.
Yeah, and I like the familiarity when you have a guy. I mean, we already know Cody Burns, who he's coached with, but he's an Auburn guy coming with him. DJ Durkin retaining him, and then Cam Martin and other guys that have been in Auburn. So as far as some familiarity, some consistency, I think he's building out a pretty good staff in year one there on the Plains.
Text line is open. I like this text. How about this? This one rolling in. Imagine there's an all SEC coaches Christmas party. Who would be the host? Who would get the drunkest? We'll just say wildest. Who would be the designated driver? Who would be the most likely to start a fight? This is good. Just means more Christmas.
Okay.
Thank you, Molly.
I think.
All right, first, can I say the coaches in the state?
Okay.
Kalen DeBoer.
Mm-hmm.
He brings a appetizer that his aunt used to make him in South Dakota, and he shows up
like some sort of casserole.
Yep. And he's not trying to look fancy. I'll get to that and what Coach will. No.
Oh, he's bringing a hot dish.
Kalen DeBoer, okay, bringing a hot dish, an appetizer.
Okay.
But it's in the Corningware.
Agreed.
And he's got the
Yeah.
I can see him rolling in. Alex Golesh, just early impressions of Alex Golesh. Alex Golesh wanted to make sure that everybody brought what they were assigned to bring, and he is organizing.
He strikes me as that.
He's organizing the setup.
Yeah.
I could also see him as DD, designated driver, in case something goes down with another head coach, potentially.
Golesh potentially being that?
I could see him being the designated driver.
See, I look at him and Clark Lee very similar. They're not looking for a fight. They're not looking for one. But if one were to spark up, they ain't going out.
No, I don't see Golesh backing down.
Right.
No,
It's
not at all.
Whoever walks up getting smacked.
He's got the red hair. Does that mean a temper?
A little bit. Like, he's got it in him. And Clark Lee is very cerebral. So he is kind of reading the room and was like, hey, y'all ain't gonna make no Vanderbilt jokes in here. I know that. So let's keep it classy in here, guys.
Man, who would be the most likely to start a fight?
Kirby.
You think?
Stop.
I like that.
Kirby, what are you doing? I didn't do anything.
No. Because you see how he is on the sideline. He's like just grabbing his head. He's scratching his head. No, man. Listen. No. Ease up.
So
my wife brought that. It's okay. I didn't know he was allergic to nuts. It's okay. Hey, we're gonna be just fine. We're gonna be just fine. And Mike Elko kind of looks over. Man, I didn't know it was gonna get out of hand like this. But Well, he need to do some straightening. Mike Elko starts the fight. Mike Elko starts it. Because everybody talks about how much money he's brought in, but he brings in like paper plates or something.
I'm just thinking maybe Summerall, early on the job, gets a little too excited.
Rubs Kirby or somebody
the
the
new
wrong
kid
way.
in the neighborhood.
Yeah. Rubs somebody the wrong way.
So I'll bring in this next coach for what I had him doing the day of the Christmas party, getting ready for the Christmas party, and that's Jeff Levy, and he's out by the smoker.
Oh, yeah, 100%. He's cool as can be, baby.
But he is cracking cold ones all day long. He comes in, he's got the barbecue smoke just saturated in the clothes that have stains on them.
You know who
from cooking all day, and he doesn't change and he doesn't care.
You know what? I take away Mike Elko starts it. Shane Beamer starts it. Because he still feels
and
like
then
he's the little brother.
And then you can't find Shane Beamer.
He feels like he's the little brother. He got the last invite because everybody forgot. Oh yeah, South Carolina. Come on, yeah. Oh, so we're still just listen. I didn't come here to start anything, but I promise you, like we're gonna finish it. We're gonna finish it.
You do your mouth just like he does.
Yeah, because I've seen him in these press conferences, and it's I don't know what at this point I don't know what more we can do. I brought Lenoris for backup, but if it does get out of hand, I'm going to get behind him and see what we can do. Dylan Stewart, listen, the fact that we even got him here is just insane, but I think that we're going to be okay.
Very nice.
But yeah, Shane Beamer is kind of like that little rascal where he, that last and final shot got to him, and he's ready to scrap a little bit.
And not that this fits his personality, but guess who's showing up late and who is dressed to the nines? Lane Kiffin.
I knew it. Does he have his girlfriend with him?
He takes one look at He takes one look at Pete Golden, and Pete Golden immediately just awesome. Like he's been waiting on this moment all this time. It's like, finally got your back.
Lane's not taking a date.
You don't think?
No. He's leaving his options open.
No, yeah.
Okay, I guess that's true.
Yeah, he's got that other phone in his pocket.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I can fly you from Baton Rouge.
Some of these new coaches, I don't know. I feel like Silverfield is sitting there texting as all of this is going on, and he's texting maybe family or friends.
He's texting Sam Pittman.
Y'all would not believe what's going on.
Right, he's texting Sam Pittman. What do I do?
What about Coach Strink?
He's just there social. He's bopping around everybody.
See,
having a good
I
conversation.
think he's going to bring the best food.
He's got the ugly Christmas sweater on.
Yes, he's got the spirit. Maybe, guys, let's read
Twas
the Night Before Christmas.
He's
together.
got little swag bag gifts that he's going to give all the other coaches.
Yes.
And it's
Right.
something,
He's bringing
some kind of technical gadget.
He goes by John Summerall. Hey, man, it's your first time, isn't it, buddy? Welcome, man. This is how we do.
That's so Drink.
Easy on the punch.
Don't know what's in there.
We all remember Christmas of 05.
Don't do what I did.
This ain't my first rodeo, guys. I've been here. How's it going? But Kalen DeVore is just easy going. Like, hey, pleasure to be here. And hey, guys. But Clark Lee is he's off by himself, but he doesn't mind if it does go.
Who gets in the fight? Pete Golding's in a fight.
100%. 100%. The first person he's going to hit is Lane. Like, it doesn't even, like, it could be Ryan Silverfield accidentally starting it, but he's going to punch Lane first.
No, he's going to hit Lane.
No, 100%. That's what starts
Lane's
it.
getting punched.
So, hey, Coach, how's Oxford treating you? Boom! Just boom, instantly. Not even a conversation.
You even created this opportunity, but sorry, Coach, I got the Ole Miss people. They want to see it.
Jeff Levy's trying to like break it up. All you hear is a cowbell just dingle. Hey guys, hey. Ding, ding, ding.
And see now, do you have Sark and Brent Venables just kind of in the corner because they're also sort of the newer guys in the SEC?
Ooh, Venables.
How do we feel about them?
Venables he's talking some underlying smack. Like he's just kind of throwing little jabs here and there.
I definitely think they're sitting next to each other at dinner.
They cross their legs. And he's over there talking about drink. Like, look at this guy.
No, Mark Stoops bust up in the party. He's been at it all day.
Somebody said there's a smackdown.
And he goes straight towards Shane Beamer.
Or Hugh Freeze shows up late. Hey, I was golfing. I forgot my invite. Sorry, Coach.
We were driving around shopping. I was so close, so I decided to stop by. That's good.
That's perfect. That's perfect.
Our made up SEC coaches
that's
party,
funny.
Christmas party, and how that would go.
Welcome back into Three-Man Front here on your Tuesday. As we continue the holiday edition of the show, we'll be back with you on Monday and can't wait to be back talking college football with all of you after hopefully a very happy holiday season for y'all this week. So we just let you hear what our take on an SEC coach's Christmas party would be like, but how about your Christmas wish list? What is on every SEC coach's wish list heading into the big day of Christmas coming up in 2 days? Well, let's find out what our thoughts are next.
SEC football coaches, what we think would be great gift ideas for all of them. And you got some new coaches.
You do? Yep.
Got to be thoughtful. You want to get us started?
Sure, we can get started. Where do we want to start with Alabama and Auburn, perhaps?
It's random. This is dealer's choice.
Dealer's choice. All right, well, we'll start off. How about we start off with Vanderbilt? Right?
Sounds good.
They've had a great year. They should be certainly no Cole and Clark Lee's stocking. I think we all know what Clark Lee wants for Christmas, though, right? And that is an NCAA waiver granting Diego Pavia 1 more year of eligibility. Also, I think if he could adopt him as his actual son, that would also probably be a great Christmas gift for Clark Lee. So I'm going to go with an extra waiver year for Diego Pavia for Clark Lee. I think that would make him smile like no other on Christmas morning.
I, too, have a mini Diego Pavia, whether that's a Diego Pavia part 2, like a guy that reminds him of Diego Pavia coming in next year, or Diego somehow, some way getting another year of eligibility.
Maybe a coach. Maybe he joins the coaching
Maybe
staff.
he just joins the coaching staff, yeah. But I said Diego Pavia part 2.
I said Clark Lee Vandy, clone Diego Pavia.
We're all on the same page.
But I also said also for Marcus Freeman to take a Giants job.
Ooh, okay. I like that. Very good one. And Diego Pavia gets to go with him.
I tried to be really thoughtful with my Christmas gift.
That was very good. He must have been very good this year.
All right, I'll go next.
Okay.
From Clark Lee, let's go to Eli Drinkwitz.
Ooh.
Missouri. Think he wants 8 wins next season because that means he gets a bonus.
Yes.
And a 32-team college football playoff field.
That was good. See, that's where I was going with Drinkwitz, was an expanded playoff field, but also for somebody to tell him that they want him outside of Missouri because it felt like he was the guy.
Oh, he was out there.
He was the guy this year that his name was out there for everything.
Yeah.
And it was like, well, if we can't have options A through Z, then I guess you'll be our next option, Drink. So
I like Drink.
I do too. I know. I absolutely.
I understand the knock on his record against really good teams.
He's very
but I like him.
I like he's very entertaining. I know he's not everybody's cup of tea.
A completed stadium.
Ooh, that would have been good for Clark Lee as well.
Yeah, that's good.
That's really good. I like that, Molly. That's really good. All right, we can continue on. Let's go with Alex Golesh.
Okay.
The new Auburn head coach. Mine was simple. Maybe this is the low-hanging fruit, but mine was Byron Brown. That's what he wants for Christmas. He wants his quarterback that he's had a lot of success with at South Florida to fall in love with the Plains of Auburn and come there and say, Coach, give me the reins. I got you covered your first year. I think Byron Brown to Auburn, that is his biggest Christmas gift, and I think he might get it.
Right in line with the thinking there. For Alex Golesh, I got competent quarterback play.
Okay.
But also, chocolate.
We all go that route.
But also as a stocking stuffer, a chocolate kielbasa. That is a no-bake fudge cookie dessert.
That's
that
good.
You get around Christmas time.
In Russia. Oh, I like.
I said a book called The Quarterback Whisperer.
Okay.
I like that. That's really good. I like we all went quarterback and Russian delicacy.
Yes.
All right, where do you want to go next? So we've gone through Clark Lee, Eli Drinkwitz, and Alex Golesh.
I will this is Arkansas, Ryan Silverfield. I went the keys to his office. Who hid my keys?
Who hid my keys?
Because some Arkansas fans are not super excited about letting him sit in that seat.
No. I went, you remember when we got to see the pictures of Sam Pittman's house and he had that beautiful Razorback statue? That's what I put on there. He wants that Razorback statue to put it in his yard. That thing was immaculate.
It was. Wasn't that at the lake?
Yeah,
was
it was
that
at the
Mike
lake house.
Anderson's former home?
Yep, it was at the lake house, that big old Razorback in the backyard. That's what Brian Silverfield wants.
I'm so sorry, but a new AD.
Oh,
that's good.
That's a good one.
I'm sorry.
No, that's fair.
No, don't be.
I think that's fair.
All right, Kentucky, Will Stein, their new head coach. I went Mark Pope to make a Final Four.
That's so so good.
I went a quarterback that won't retire from football after his 1 year at Kentucky because that's happened 2 years in a row now.
See, I said a quarterback too.
Because both Calzada and Vandegrift both said they were retiring from football. I'm sorry. No. Some of these are a little too easy. All right, how about let's go Steve Sarkisian.
Okay, Sark.
I went
for Sark.
I'm sorry. I'm going to go an NFL head coaching interview and a glass of eggnog.
That's good.
That's what Sark wants for Christmas. Maybe a couple glasses of eggnog.
I'm going Sark, college football playoff field to expand to 16, and Kirby Smart to take an NFL job.
Ooh, okay.
I said Peyton Manning or Eli Manning.
And you're saying that not because you think that he would want the Georgia job, but because that's the one team they can't beat. He just can't beat.
Yeah.
No.
Not having great success.
I just said a different Manning.
Yeah.
That's even Cooper?
Eh.
Maybe.
You want to go John Summerall, Florida?
Yeah. What you got?
He's got to get his UF starter kit, right? Got to have jorts, gator tank top, maybe a gold chain, but also an easier schedule.
An easier schedule. That's a good one. So for John Summerall, I went kind of where Molly went for Arkansas. I went new AD, so he doesn't have to deal with Scott Strickland. But I'll also throw in a very nice autographed Steve Spurrier visor.
Ooh.
A 1 of 1.
That's nice. So I like where both of you guys went, and those were two of my initial options, but he still technically is coaching at Tulane, so I said revenge against Ole Miss.
Okay, fair. Yeah, that's good. That's good because he will be there.
Because he will be there.
Yeah, that's good. Spurrier's still got an office there in the football complex.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to suggest just a bunch of different lessons for Steve Spurrier, like painting lessons, dance lessons, just to keep him out of the office where he's not looking over his shoulder constantly.
Yep. No, I think that's a good one. All right, let's go. How about Josh Heupel at Tennessee?
Heupel.
See, the easy one for this would have been beforehand. It would have been a new defensive coordinator, but he already got his Christmas gift. We talked about it. He got it with Jim Knowles. I would say for me, I think for Josh Heupel, he wants more than anything a drama-free offseason. You don't want to be dealing with anybody's daddy. You don't want to have any controversy of this player wants to go to this school for more money, holding us hostage. I think he wants peace and quiet for the holiday season. He doesn't want the headache of dealing with divas.
Peace is good. I like that answer.
For Heupel, I went...
A silent night, perhaps,
mm-hmm.
for Josh Heupel.
For Heupel, I went propane and propane accessories.
Yes.
That's the winner.
Maybe you'll get a grill, too.
Yeah.
Who knows?
That's a good one. Do you have one for Heupel, Molly?
I'll go with peace.
Peace?
Yeah.
I think he would
I
appreciate
couldn't think of
that.
a good one for Heupel.
I think he would appreciate that one. All right. Where do you want to go next?
Let's go Shane Beamer.
Ooh. Softer water coolers in the athletic facility. He does not, those do not get along well with him and his feet in particular.
No, I went stability at offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
And Mark Stoops' new cell phone number.
That's good.
That is good.
That's good.
I said to at least be in the college football playoff conversation again.
That's good.
So you could also say for Lenore Sellers to give him one more year of that Stockholm syndrome and believe that he can be successful if he stays for another year at South Carolina. All right, let's go for Mike Elko at Texas.
I want to lead here.
Okay.
Because I don't want anybody to steal it.
Go for it.
Mike Elko, Texas A&M, female cheerleaders, for goodness sake. I speak for all of college football, Mike. You know you want to see it.
See, I was going to say he wanted to dance in the fountain with the Merry Milkman just one time. Just one time, just to feel something.
Dinner with Trev.
Dinner with Trev.
So he can get more money. I mean, it's Texas A&M people.
Oh, it already worked once, right?
Might as well get more.
I like that. I guess now, yeah, he also needs some coaches. That would be another good thing for him to have for Christmas this year. All right, let's keep it going. What about Pete Golding at Ole Miss?
Let's see. What do I have for Pete?
See, I was thinking something for Pete Golding. Again, you could go the easy route of a college football playoff win, right? The right way to start his tenure.
Just win over LSU and Oxford next season.
That's a good one. I was gonna say a hairbrush. His hair is always
See, I was
Well,
going to
everywhere.
say,
Yeah, he's got the
you know
flip in the back.
yeah.
the hats that are like the visor and they have the hair sticking out of them?
Yeah.
I was going to say that for the student section. Like throw them out to all the kids.
That would
That's
be
good.
good.
You know? Mhm.
Got the visor with the hair attached
Yeah,
to
my
it.
grandfather
be
had
good.
one.
Yeah.
And it gave him hair.
I like it.
Maybe Juice Kiffin. He'll actually like.
I
love the
wanted
dog
to.
and take care
I
of him.
left. I left Juice out of this. I'm really concerned about Juice.
I am too.
Yeah.
What does he want for Christmas? A dad.
Yeah.
He wants a good dad.
That makes
A
me
dad.
so
who's-
sad.
actually, not just a dad. Somebody who's going to be a father.
Somebody. You're right. I'm not the stepdad. I'm the dad that stepped up. Right. I'm sorry. That's just like one of those cheesy T-shirts you see. Have you ever seen those before? I'm not the stepdad. I'm the dad that stepped up. I don't know why I thought of that.
And why do you feel the need to let people know?
I don't know. Just thought it was funny. I thought people would enjoy that.
For those of you random people who I've never seen in my life out in this public setting are wondering, I stepped up.
I was talking about Pete Golding. He could be the dad that stepped up. For Juice.
Oh. All right, we'll stay in the state. Jeff Lebby. He wants Pete Golding to fail miserably.
Yeah, I was about to say he already got his Christmas gift, which was Lane leaving Ole Miss. But yeah, I think he does want that. I don't know, maybe a nice antique cowbell, something like that for him,
Or something grilling.
Yeah, he seems like he would. See, he seems like the opposite Lincoln Riley. Like I bet he'd cook a mean brisket.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
See, I said earplugs so that he can wear them during the
That's a good one.
cowbells. Yeah.
That's a good one. That one was harder.
Do we want to go Lane Kiffin here?
That's.
I want a little bit throwback here. For Lane, I think a Katy Perry Christmas CD and some new Lulu hot yoga gear.
Okay,
See,
I think that's good.
I said his own hot yoga studio, like Lane's own.
Yeah, but here's the problem with
Call
it,
it
Molly.
Lane's Lounge.
Here's the problem. Other people can't see him. He likes to be seen. So if he has it there, it's just him, and that's not as much
Well,
fun.
no, he owns it, but people
Oh.
can, you know.
Okay, I thought you were
Yeah.
saying putting one there just at the house.
Oh, no, like his own.
Yeah.
He owns it. Yeah.
His chain.
Lane's Lounge.
Yeah.
Or Lunge.
Spray tans in the back.
Oh, yeah.
See, I went the opposite. I went for Kalen DeBoer to take the Michigan job. Because I know realistically
Yeah.
he probably can't get out of the LSU deal, but it would be funny to see him try.
Can you imagine that, Governor? I mean, calling in the National Guard to block the runway at the airport.
But would it
That would be
surprise you at all if it
crazy.
came out that there was like, in the fine print of his new contract that he wrote in there, if the Alabama job comes open, I can leave at any moment to take that job. Like if that was one of those clauses that came out and was like, yeah, Lane, we'll just give you whatever you want. And then it actually came to fruition. Yeah, I think that's what Lane would want. He wants the Alabama job. Who all do we have left? We have Kalen DeBoer.
We have Kalen. Oh, let's do Brent Venables.
I think that's all we have left is Venables and DeBoer.
Yeah, for Venables, I said play Alabama and Auburn every week next season.
I was about to say, yeah, get to play Alabama every round of the college football
See,
playoff.
mine-
Loves it.
Yeah. Another one against Alabama.
Yep.
Sorry, Conrad.
He hates the state of Alabama. He's so good against him. It's awful.
For Kalen DeBoer, I said a running game and more built-in bye weeks. He's so good after the bye.
I was about to say the running game. I think for him, he probably just wants people to shut the heck up about him going and taking a job elsewhere. I think that's what he wants for Christmas.
I said an 11 or 12 win season. Because, as we know, people get mad at him when he goes to 9-3 or 10-2.
Hey, but you win next Friday, Molly. That's win number 11 right there.
That's exactly right.
Roll Tide. I think that would be 16 happy coaches if they all got what
I
they
think
asked
so.
for. I think they'd all be thrilled.
I mean, how do you buy for the guy who's worth $100 million?
That's right.
That's how.
Mary Chrysler coaches.
We continue 3-minute front on Jock.
Welcome back into three-man front. So from SEC Coach Christmas parties and SEC Coach wish list, we will take a little bit of a break from the holiday theme, as we did want to give you an opportunity to hear our conversation with Trey Wallace, him of Outkick and Fox, does a great job covering college football. And this is just his thoughts, his recap on a crazy weekend, the first round of the college football playoff, as well as the ongoing coaching drama around the sport. So this is Trey Wallace from Outkick with us on three-man front from earlier in the week.
Let's go to the Higginbotham Hotline. Joining us now from Outkick, Trey Wallace joins us here on three-man front. Trey, happy holidays. Hope you're well.
Yeah, doing good, guys. Just pushing through. A little bit of an interesting weekend at Oxford, and now we get a little bit of a prize before we get to the quarterfinal matchups. And trust me, there'll be a lot of stuff going on in between.
All right, so be honest with us. So you're very honest with our listeners and with us. Bama falls behind 17-0. What kind of article are you getting ready to write for Outkick, and then how that changed really quickly by halftime?
Same old Alabama can't establish a running game, and it catches up to them. Like, honestly, that would have been it. Like, I went into that game thinking I was about to say Ole Miss. Man, I was there in Oxford too much and have been. If Oklahoma was able to establish along the defensive line and put the pressure, that it would cause some problems, and things just kind of got out of control there for the first 14, 15 minutes. And Alabama weathered the storm. Like, I give them a lot of credit, but the problem is they're one-dimensional right now. And if they're going to beat Indiana, they got to figure out a way to run the football. And I think, I'll be honest with you, the turning point in that game, like just straight up, was when John Mateer scrambled out of the backfield, got away from a sack, probably could have ran for 10, 15 yards, which I'm not blaming the young man for this. He found a receiver down the field and, probably should have caught it. And if that's the case, he probably goes into the end zone. It's 24-7, and we might not be talking about Alabama playing Indiana in the Rose Bowl. Actually, we're probably not talking about it. So, because then the fake, not the fake punt, but the messed up punt happens. Alabama's able to hold them the next best into a field goal. Like, things just started turning their way. I'm not that, believer in like karma and whatnot during games, but I will tell you that once that play happened and everything started to shift a little bit, there was no way in heck that Oklahoma was stopping that landslide. So I give a lot of credit to Alabama for fighting back, continuing to fight back, and making that into something that it was.
So, Trey, would you say that, I guess, based on the performance on Friday, are you more confident in Alabama moving forward? I mean, the Indiana game is going to be incredibly difficult nonetheless, but, I mean, we know this is a team, you picked them to play in the national championship at the beginning of the year, not saying that you automatically expect that to be the case once again, but do you feel better about their chances?
It's like a great Trey. I'm so glad that you were able to overcome the Clemson-Alabama prediction.
I was about to say, I wasn't going to mention who you had them playing, but Pat just did.
That's okay. We're good. No, I think that, look, Indiana is going – if I'm an Indiana fan and I'm watching that game last Friday night, I'm like, oh, boy, this is going to be fun. Like, we're going to be able to score some points. We're going to be able to move the football. What is the Alabama defense going to be able to do? Stop the downfield threat from Indiana. How can they get after Fernando Mendoza? I think, obviously Mendoza is a different quarterback than John Mateer. But it also does – line up for Alabama in a way here. Like, I'm fascinated to see how Indiana secondary can try to control what Ty Simpson's doing down the field. And Alabama found success against Oklahoma's defense and hitting those 20, 30-yarders across the middle, finding a little space down the field. It's like every now and then we see the Ryan Williams that we all thought we were going to see. And he kind of comes out of his shell for 2 to 3 plays and goes back in it, which is fine. Like, every player has that type of year or a stretch and whatnot. But what I'm getting at here is I know everybody, a lot of folks that want to look at this game and say, and even I do, I'll be honest with you, Indiana should win this game by 10 to 14 points. That's just how I feel watching them all season long. I'm not a viewer that tunes in for 1 or 2 games and like that's it. Like, Indiana finds ways to win, but at the same time, it's It's like Ty Simpson said after the game. He tried to get the Kobe quote down, didn't work out, but that's okay. But I knew what he was saying. And when he talks about, everybody wrote them off, like that's a mentality that we have not seen in Tuscaloosa in over nearly 2 decades.
Yeah.
And maybe this is good for this Alabama team. Like maybe it's great that I'm sitting here saying that I don't know what they're going to do to be able to stop Indiana's offense. And maybe they turn that thing right back around and make me eat my words next week. I'm just, I'm fascinated because this is a different mindset right now, even coming off the SEC title game where Alabama didn't have a number of players there because of injuries or they were limited on the field. And I feel like this could be, I'm trying not to get ahead of myself here, but man, this could turn into a run. Like there are so many things that could happen off Alabama going on that 34-7 run. And I'm not sitting here trying to, pump juice up to the fans by saying, I think Alabama's going to win a national championship, even though I predicted that, or they at least be playing a national championship before the season. But what I am saying is I like this new mindset from guys like Ty Simpson. I do. I don't know what it is about it that kind of gets me going here and liking them. But if they take the next 12 days and it's us against the world, I brought this up to a colleague. Like if we looked at this game 2 years ago, guys, we would say this is David versus Goliath. And this is a brand versus a brand. Like we see who comes out. Like who's David and who's Goliath in this game? Because I think that would be Indiana. Like I like the fact that it's kind of switched here in this spot, and I think that would serve Alabama really well. And I think the motivation is going to be there. And this is a team that it's out to prove some folks wrong. Now, at the end of the day, man, they've got to figure out a way to run the football. And if they can't, Indiana is going to control the possession, or you know what, they might just try to score in 3 to 4 plays and try to separate themselves. But if I'm an Alabama fan, I know how bad it went in the first half and whatnot, or the first 12 minutes of regulation, but you saw a squad that did not give up, did not falter, went in at halftime, adjusted, came out, and continued this crazy run they were on. And if I'm a fan, I'm like, all right, cool, let's lace them up. Let's see what they can do out at the Rose Bowl. And I'm telling you, anything can happen. And I do think that there's an opportunity to beat Alabama. To beat Indiana.
Don't you think that's a really good, the attitude that you just talked about with this Alabama football team, that plays into the strength of Kalen DeBoer? I know that we're just now really getting to understand Kalen DeBoer as the coach on this side of the Mississippi River, but there is no question. I mean, his numbers don't lie in regards to how he motivates his teams, and they get up for these big games against these ranked opponents.
The whole Kalen DeBoer thing has been fascinating because – I'll even bring it up. The stuff with Michigan last week. It didn't come out of just thin air. This was not hope from Michigan fans that they'd be able to go out and land somebody like that. And I promise you I'm going to land this plane. What I'm getting at here is there are multiple players in that locker room. Everybody's got social media. They see what's going on. They see Desmond Howard out here making hints as to why he picked Oklahoma to win the game because maybe potentially Kalen DeBoer could get a formal offer from Michigan. What I'm getting at here is this team is kind of taken on the persona of Kalen DeBoer, and I understand it. A lot of people don't know Kalen. If you haven't covered him, if you didn't cover him at Washington or his previous stops, you're all still learning. And I think, and when I say that, I'm talking about the fans here. Like, he is a different animal behind the scenes. And the one thing that stands out to me, the one video that stands out to me is when they were playing Tennessee and he was walking out of that tunnel and he looked like he had just drank 3 Red Bulls before he was about to take the field. He was jacked up. He was slapping the goalposts. Like, they feed off of him. And I think that while he is very subtle in some remarks, post-game, pre-game, and whatnot, he's a wild man in the locker room. But he also is so calm, cool, and collective. And I think what you've seen Alabama is they've taken on the life and respond like their head coach. And that takes a while to instill, guys. Like, again, I go back to what Ty Simpson was saying. Like, when's the last time that you've heard Alabama players have to talk like that? It hasn't been the case. So maybe this is really, really good for the program, and this is what you want. It's still Alabama. It's going to be Alabama. I don't care who the head coach is, who the quarterback is, who the donors are. It's still Bama. I just think that they've had to find a different way and a different style about them after Nick Saban. And I think we're finally starting to see that. It took a while. It's taken a while. I get that part of it. You come off a loss in the SEC championship game that you didn't expect to get beat that bad. You're still trying to figure a few things out. But, man, there's something about this squad that I like them even more right now when it feels like it's them against the world. And I swear I didn't think I'd ever be saying that about the Alabama Crimson Tide football program, but here we are, guys.
Trey Wallace from Outkick and Fox joining us here on the Higginbotham Hotline on Three-Man Front. I want to switch gears a little bit with you, Trey, because you were in Oxford over the weekend as Ole Miss. Just I'll be honest, they slaughtered Tulane again, like they did in the regular season. But I just kind of your takeaways from being around that team, being in that environment, Pete Golding's first game as head coach. Just how impressed were you? Because from my perspective, just watching that team, it didn't look like there was really any drop off with Lane Kiffin's departure. Just what can you tell us about your time in Oxford this weekend as Ole Miss advances to the quarterfinals?
You know, it's funny. Like I covered the game because I wanted to cover what was going on around the game, not the game itself. And I made my walk around the Grove and whatnot and looked at the signs, even found Buddy the Elf running around, and I wanted to see what the atmosphere was like. And I could probably count on one hand maybe how many hateful signs toward Kiffin was. Like there was a Santa Claus sitting there taking pictures, and off to the right it was like ho ho ho, Merry Christmas. But you guys know what I'm talking about when I say that type of thing. Like that was maybe the most like dramatic thing that I saw. I watched Pete Golding walk out of the locker room while the crowd was chanting his name. I watched an atmosphere that I would put up against anywhere in the country on a college football Saturday. I saw an offense that didn't look like anything had happened, to be honest with you. And one of the things that stood out to me was that the fact that when Pete Golding says it really doesn't matter who's running them out of the tunnel, I truly believe that right now. And that's not the case for every school, okay? But in this case, guys, Sunday morning, Lane Kiffin sent a plane to Oxford, Mississippi to grab up all those assistant coaches who were also coaching at LSU and got them down to Baton Rouge.
All right, let's wrap up hour 2 here of the holiday edition of Three Man Front with our discussion going into some of our favorite Christmas movie characters.
Here with a Christmas related question, and I think this could be a good play off of our poll question of the day, asking your favorite Christmas movie. Jason chimes in: is Cousin Eddie the best character in a Christmas movie? I think there's a very strong argument. He's the funniest.
If he's not, he's right. He's in a group.
I think he is.
I think he is absolutely right up there.
Okay,
with,
all right.
His one-liners are classic.
Well, let's go through it though. All right, so Cousin Eddie from that movie.
Yes.
Elf, who would it be?
I mean, it'd have to be Will Ferrell.
It'd have to be
Buddy.
Will Ferrell.
Yeah, it'd be Will Ferrell. Buddy.
Okay.
With a special shout out to Peter Dinklage in that movie. He's very funny as the small person author. Very funny.
What about Christmas Story?
Ralphie, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Or would you go somewhere else? Would you? I think the dad would
I
be.
I would put the dad in there
Dad
too.
would be a strong argument for.
No, I go old Yellow Eyes.
You go all Yellow Eyes. Okay.
Scott Fargus.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good one.
That's a good one.
That's a good one. Okay. Home Alone would be Macaulay Culkin, right?
Kevin.
You would think it would be Macaulay Culkin, but it could be Pesci or Daniel Stern.
I was about to say I'd go Joe Pesci over the other burglar.
Yeah. Marvin. One of them's Marv.
Yeah, one is Marv.
I don't know why I'm blanking.
What's the other one's name?
I don't know.
The Sticky Bandits.
Or the Wet Bandits.
Or the Wet Bandits.
Depends on which version.
I was about to say those would be very good ones. I'm trying to think of other ones off the top of my head, just from other, like iconic Christmas movies.
In Four Christmases, I'm thinking of Vince Vaughn's brother
Tim
and his
McGraw's
wife.
character.
Yes.
Yeah.
When they're playing the game. Well, maybe not him, but one of the brothers. I
When they're
think.
playing the game with his mom and his mom who married his
Yes.
best friend. or
Something. No, it's like the quick card game.
Yeah.
Like, what's on your bedside table?
Mhm.
What's capital of China? Like stuff like that.
It's really yeah.
Then he starts going into, you remember what we used?
Oh yeah, when they're doing all the off the wall clues and they're getting every single one of them right.
Yeah,
and
that's the game.
Yeah, and Reese Witherspoon's just like we don't really know anything about each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are all great.
The thing I'm not allowed to wear to Supercross.
I also love that. Yes.
A mini skirt. Yes.
Yes. I also love the pastor in that movie when they have to go and do
That's
the play.
such a
Dwight
funny
Yoakam.
scene.
So good.
He comes out to jock jams.
Yeah, it's so good. So good. Okay, that's a good one. That's a good one. See this one? Okay, we have this one says Eddie Murphy in Trading Places.
Okay.
That would be theirs. Someone texts in and says John Farva. I don't know what that's from.
John Farva, well, he played the doctor in Elf, but he also wrote.
Oh, John
Direct-
Favreau.
Favreau.
That's okay. I got
I
you.
knew they were talking about.
Yeah. He's the
Brett
director
Favre?
of Elf.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, John Favreau. Yes. No, he's great. So yeah, send in some of those too. We'll continue with that. Your favorite Christmas movie
Because
characters.
there's a ton that we're not thinking about.
There is. See, this is for a movie, and I know this is the eternal debate, but they say their favorite Christmas movie is Die Hard.
All right, 2 more hours to go here on the holiday edition of Three Man Front. Conrad Van Order here with you until 2 o'clock when we will send you off to the Paul Feinbaum Show. Whole crew, we're going to be back next Monday celebrating the Christmas holidays, and of course hope each and every one of you has a wonderful holiday here with your loved ones. And we just appreciate everything y'all do for us all throughout the year and all of the support, and truly couldn't do it without the wonderful Jocks listeners. And we're excited to be back with you next Monday as we get ready to break down the quarterfinal round of the college football playoff. But the game that I think most of our listeners are most anticipating there is the Rose Bowl, as Alabama will take on Indiana. And so now we're going to let you hear into Kalen DeBoer, the Alabama football head coach. This is him, his press conference, kind of previewing and discussing where his team is at after the win over Oklahoma, and now his press conference for that Indiana matchup in the Rose Bowl. Here is Alabama head coach Kalen DeBoer.
Our team that excited to go play closer to home and even more from the West Coast. So that's one piece of it, but obviously the game itself and what it means, and our opportunity to continue to take the next step. But we understand we got a great football team with Indiana. Coach Signetti, just what he's done is amazing here these last 2 years. Just building the program as quickly as he's done to the level it's at, and really looking forward to us diving back into our process here the next 10 days or so, just getting back to work. Really important days. I thought we did a great job from the SEC championship to the first round game in a lot of ways, whether it's the preparation. I got to give a tip of the hat to our training staff and our doctors, Jeff Allen, who runs our training room downstairs with his staff. An amazing job, just putting people together and getting guys as healthy as they could have. Dr. Kane, Dr. Waldrop, Dr. Stewart. We just got a top tier group, and I know there's even more, but just everything they did to get our guys to where they played fast and we're as healthy as we've been in a long time. So need that again here the next 10 days. On the speed part, I mean, our guys, Coach Ballou, I need to give him credit too, our head strength coach. We had as many guys hit their top speeds as we have since the Tennessee game, and that's tied for the most over 20 miles an hour, all year. So it's great to have more players playing fast in the big moments, but looking forward to the challenge. Our guys are as well.
Thank you, Coach. We'll now open up the teleconference for questions. Please raise your hand to ask a question using the raise hand icon within Zoom. If and when your question is selected, please unmute your microphone and state your name and media outlet before asking your question. Once your question has been answered, your microphone will be muted and your hand will be lowered. Our first question comes from Nicole Auerbach.
Hey, Kalen, it's Nicole Auerbach from NBC Sports. I wanted to ask, just with you and Curt Cignetti in this matchup, got me thinking about just the unique paths that you both took to become head coaches at places like Alabama and Indiana. And I wonder how your path and all the different stops and all the levels of college football helped prepare you to lead a program at the highest level with all that's changing in college football today.
Yeah, just knowing Coach Cignetti, and you referred to it, his path, nothing but respect. Again, how he's done it, how he's gotten to this spot. A lot of work goes into it. I think coming back to your question, I wouldn't trade it for the world. I think there's things that you do that give you an appreciation for the moment you're in, having an opportunity to be here at Alabama. But I also think there's moments that you go through. I mean, with the playoffs the way they are, and us having to go 4 rounds, been through that many, many years, whether it was as an assistant or as a head coach, going back to Sioux Falls days. And then I think building a staff and, having the network and the contacts has helped me surround people with a lot of knowledge, but also the right type of people to help lead you, especially in today's day and age of college football and building a team. And, I think all of it goes into just being built for these moments that come. But I've been really blessed. I've been blessed to be around a lot of great coaches who have mentored me along the way, that I've taken things from to be able to be successful in the moments that we're in now.
Our next question will come from Jeff Rabjohns.
Hey, Coach. How you doing? Jeff JeffRabJohnsPeaks.com here. Good to see you. Good to talk to you. As far as the game goes, Indiana's rushing attack has been really productive, even though, Mendoza won the Heisman, has been the kind of guy getting more attention. I'd like your thoughts from a coaching chair. What makes Indiana's running game good, and how good do you feel Indiana's offensive line has been and is playing going into this game?
Yeah, we're still diving into it, but a thing that jumps out at me, just with kind of the first glance here the last day or so, is how well they work together, the offensive line in particular, and just everyone being in sync. They're always moving forward, and on the opposite end, the defense, has the tackles for losses and is physical as well. So, but I just think that with obviously Mendoza and winning the Heisman, I mean, that doesn't happen by accident. You put a whole season of film together, of games and stringing them each and every week, and you end up undefeated because a trigger man can make some plays and do his thing at an extremely high level. I just look at their skill around the offensive line. They just all complement each other. They go make plays. When the opportunities are there, they get it done. And there's great coaching that you can see to put them in spots to succeed. But also the guys, you can see they play with a swagger, with a confidence, and as they should with the success they've had.
Our next question comes from Nick Hamilton.
Hey, Coach. First of all, congratulations on making the Rose Bowl. Um, Also want to ask you, just how have you seen your defense grow exponentially um, since playing in the SEC, and now you guys are in the CFP, gaining a victory at Oklahoma, and now you're playing in the Rose Bowl. What are some of the traits that you've seen along the way that giving your team even more confidence?
Well, I think there was a point, it was early in the season where our guys defensively just kind of kept taking those steps, and through conference play, got the turnovers in big moments that helped us win games. The stops that were needed, forcing field goals, and I think that continued to breed a kind of a belief at a high level, and they've been able to do it different ways. And the first quarter maybe wasn't our best quarter, but they were fighting and coming off the field, ready to solve problems, to come up with solutions, whether that's the coaching staff or our players. I know that our whole team is going to fight, but you're asking about the defense in particular. I know that they went out there. They're very, proud of what they've accomplished, and really did a nice job as the game went along of making adjustments to get more pressure on the quarterback, to obviously come up with an interception for a touchdown. Just continue to play, and the game came back to us. We talk about that as a program, but the game came back to us because everyone just continued to stay the course, and forced them, even when they got into our territory, to force field goals. And that's a mindset, that no matter where you step on the football field, you're just going to play it to the best of your ability, and our guys do that.
Our next question comes from Zachary Osterman.
Hi, Kaylin. Thanks for making the time. Hope all's well your way. I imagine you haven't sort of deep dived into Indiana just the last few years, but I'm curious. You were around here at a time when this program was really emphasizing investment in football, and really sort of trying to be bold about sort of dreaming bigger and pushing the boat out farther. As you've sort of, in what you have been able to see of Coach Signetti, do you see more of that basically kind of the impact of a place really investing in a way that says we want to be more competitive in football, and we're going to be really proactive about it?
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I mean, I do pay attention just because it's a place I've been, and pay a little more attention. I can't say, you're worried about your own place and where you're at, but I felt like when we were there that there was a growth and an investment that was happening, and there was success that in 19 when I was there, that felt like you were getting over the hump, and that extended to the next season as well. But there's certainly, I mean, Coach Signetti's done a great job providing the spark, which really, it leads to people continue to be all in, and as you get more people all in, you get the
the moments that you're in right now. And so I think it works off of each other, the energy and the commitment to the success, working hand in hand with the people that are there. So, nothing but a great time there that I had. It was short lived, but one that I remember my family as well.
Our next question comes from Kennington Smith.
Hey, Coach DeBoer. Hope you're doing well. I actually have two questions, if I may. The first is about Bray Hubbard. Obviously, his play against Florida State garnered negative attention, and we get to the end of the season, he's an All-American. How have you seen him just progress throughout the season, and maybe what type of lesson is there? How he started and kind of how he's finished up the season.
No, yeah, Bray. He is who he is. I know he was super disappointed as well as many guys were with week one, with just the production. I would never really question how important it is to him. It means so much to play at a high level, but even more to do it with his teammates. He's a team guy, and he's just continued to lead us. It doesn't matter if it's on the field, off the field. He's a top tier person, first of all. And, I think the work ethic he brings is something that, trickles on to the rest of the guys. And, he takes it upon himself to make sure that, yes, the unit that's on the field, the ones, the twos, that they're playing at a high level, held to the standard, but he also cares about it trickling down to the players who are going to be the future here too. And, he's an extremely hard player. He's a playmaker in the big moments. You've seen him end up with the ball in his hands, interceptions, at critical times. And he's going to come down in the box. He can play out in space. Just does a lot of things for us that are really important to our success defensively.
Yeah, and then Zabian Brown, you kind of mentioned big plays. That's kind of been his story since he's been at Alabama. What has allowed him to meet those moments? And then, also just kind of what type of opportunity is it for him and, other guys who are from California to get a chance to go back there and play in the Rose Bowl?
Yeah, ZB he's been, you can call it the right place, but I think you make your own breaks too. And, there's times where, you happen to be in the right spot, but there's also times where you put the footwork in, and I see what he does with his film study. I see what he does on the football field in practice, whether it's technically, just how important it is for him to be on the same page with the guys around him so he can take those, I don't want to call them, they're calculated risks, or have an aggressiveness about him to go make the plays, knowing where his help's at pre-snap, while the play's happening. He's a really heady player, and obviously a great athlete and playmaker. And so I think for him, as well as all these guys going out to California, it's just a really cool moment for them. They're just such great kids. They're not kids, but young men, whose families have to travel a long ways each and every week. And this time they get to return the favor back to their families and go out there and play in front of them, and as well as many friends that I'm sure will be at the game.
We have time for one more question. Our last question will come from Mike Schumann.
Yeah, hey, Coach. Mike Schumann of the Daily Hoosier. Wanted to ask you about Kane. He was obviously there at Indiana with you, and I'm just curious, like, what was it about him? I'm assuming his time at Indiana played a heavy influence on you want him to bring him on board at Alabama. What stood out? Is there anything about his time at Indiana that really stands out to you? And I guess also just like what's it like for all you guys? I know there's a lot of IU guys, former IU guys on staff to come full circle and play this game against Indiana.
Yeah, I'd probably be missing some Coach Ballou, Coach Sheridan. But your reference to Kane, here's what I saw when I was there. First of all, a guy that really wanted me to come be a part of it. And then when I was there, did everything he could to be a team player. He was focused on running a defense. I was the offense coordinator, but practice plans, schedules, whatever it was, he would be willing to work with you to help make sure it was best for our team and not just his side of the ball. And Then there obviously has to be a production and a style of coaching that you feel fits, and whether it's what he does as a defensive coordinator, or especially down here now with his home being, for the most part, being down here in the Southeast, what he could bring as far as the familiarity to the league, the region. It was a great fit, a great opportunity. And, for him to jump on board and be a part of this, you can see what he's done with our defense. He's a great coach, great person, great family man. Our players really believe in him. Our staff does too, as he manages them. So it's been really, really a great, great opportunity. And I'm glad that he was a big part of me coming there, trying to get me to Indiana. I'm glad he returned a favor and came when I called him as well.
Three-man front here on a Tuesday. 2 days away from Christmas. Hope everyone out there has a wonderful holiday and gets to spend it with their loved ones, as we will be doing here at Jock. So we'll be back with you, the whole crew, on Monday. And looking forward to that, and hope all of you have a wonderful Christmas season. And remember the important parts of this season, which are your loved ones, family, friends, and of course the birth of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. So we appreciate you being here with us on this Tuesday. So we just heard from Kalen DeBoer, his press conference leading into the Rose Bowl matchup next week against Indiana. We'll hear from Curt Cignetti here coming up in a few minutes as well. But quickly now, before we get to Curt Cignetti, let's throw in a couple more phone calls as well as a few takeaways from what Kalen DeBoer had to say. And then coming up here in, I don't know, about 10 minutes or so, we'll hear from the Indiana head coach, one Curt Cignetti.
Well, we just heard Kalen DeBoer just a few moments ago. Said he was excited about the opportunity to be in the Rose Bowl. It's a very special event. He highlights there are 15 players currently on the Alabama roster from the state of California. He also gave a tip of his cap to the Alabama training staff and the medical team for getting players ready for the Oklahoma game on Friday night. He says they're looking forward to the challenge in Pasadena. Our guys are as well. DeBoer says he wouldn't trade his coaching journey for the world for how he ended up at Alabama, and that is in reference to the fact that he used to be an assistant coach, the offensive play caller there at the Indiana Hoosiers before he went out west. So we'll hopefully listen to Curt Cignetti coming up in just a couple minutes, but let's get back to the phones at 1-800-239-WJOX. Let's go to Derry, who joins us on the program. Hey, Derry.
Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing, man?
We're doing good, man. How are you?
Well. Awesome. Quick comment. Not surprised that we beat Oklahoma. That was my expectation. Of course, them jumping out to the lead early on, 17-0. But a lot of people don't think about this, is that Alabama limped into the playoffs the last few games of the season. A lot of people don't even pay attention to that. But there's this thing, and I don't know if you've ever heard about this, but it's a 4-minute game, right? You see it in basketball, you see it also in football. Even the pros are starting to do it. But for 4 minutes, right, you give that all-out, hair-on-fire gameplay. Well, Alabama does that, and if Alabama continues to do that in 4 games, all I can say is the rest of the CFP needs to be on notice, because this is a 4-game stretch, and I don't see anybody beating Alabama all the way into the playoffs. And I think Alabama pulls it out. Miami wins. Texas Tech, more than likely, a couple of 2 or 3 explosive plays, and they take down Oregon. Georgia's in it. And I do have an estimation, or a guesstimation rather, that it'll actually be Alabama and Georgia again in the CFP.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, that would be interesting.
Good stuff.
All right, so you're feeling confident about a national championship for Alabama?
Oh, yeah. This is that 4-game swing, man, and I think our guys' hair on fire. We're actually back healthy. I got a couple of dings and all that kind of stuff in this game, but we're actually back healthy. And it wasn't surprising to me that even some of the no-name players, or I'm going to call them no-names, that names that you don't get called a lot, and they end up being the key to the game, along with like Jeremy and Horton and all. And of course, Ty Simpson was just playing. He was dialed in, and what I call, he got in the zone. And once he got in, that was it. The guy couldn't. I mean, you just couldn't shake him. So it's gonna be an interesting turn of events. Obviously Indiana's number one, but with so goes number one, so goes your season. So I think this may be their championship game, which is the Rose Bowl, and that's it for them. So Curt Cignetti is a great coach. Hats off to him, but I don't think the matchup favors Indiana at all in this matchup against Alabama.
Derry, we appreciate the phone call.
Thank you,
Hope you
Derry.
have a Merry Christmas. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Derry. Appreciate that.
Very
All right.
positive phone call.
I was about to say, the last 2 callers we've had are thinking both think Alabama's going to beat Indiana, but also picking Miami to beat Ohio State in there as well. That'd be interesting.
Very interesting. Curt Cignetti will be speaking with the media coming up in just a couple of minutes. We hope to be able to carry some of those comments.
So a shorter segment here, but we will get to get you the comments from Curt Cignetti. We'll let you hear in to part of his press conference here in just a minute. But God wanted to break it up there, let you hear a little bit of our callers and interaction from yesterday as well. Also a good time to remind you, before we do hear from Curt Cignetti, that we do have football going on today as well. We're not just looking ahead to what's coming up around New Year's week. So coming up here in a little over 30 minutes, You're going to get Toledo and Louisville in the Bush's Boca Raton Bowl. So Louisville now a 12.5-point favorite. That line's actually gone up during the show today, but Louisville a big favorite there in that one. Then later on today at 4:30 this afternoon, you got Western Kentucky and Southern Miss. Southern Miss a 1.5-point favorite in that one there for the New Orleans Bowl. And then finally tonight, the Scooters Coffee Frisco Bowl. That features UNLV and Ohio. So Dan Mullen taking on Ohio. UNLV a 6.5-point favorite in that one. So you do have some football to enjoy and look forward to tonight as you get ready for your Christmas Eve and Christmas Day festivities. But we're going to run to a quick break, and when we come back, we'll let you hear from the head coach of the Indiana Hoosiers, Curt Cignetti, as he talks about his team's preparation and reflects a little bit on his time at the University of Alabama under Nick Saban. Curt Cignetti, that's next here on Three Man Front. Welcome back in 12:29 here on the Tuesday holiday edition of Three Man Front. If you're just now joining us, Conrad Van Order here with you until 2 o'clock when we will send you off into the Christmas Eve and Christmas holiday, as well as the Paul Feinbaum Show, which you'll be able to hear from 2 until 6 o'clock. So we, at the top of the hour, I guess back at noon, we let you hear from Kalen DeBoer, the Alabama head football coach, as he held his press conference, just kind of previewing the matchup, where his team's at after the win over Oklahoma, now preparing to take on Indiana, a team he's very familiar with, from his stint as the offensive coordinator there some years ago. But the team they're going to be facing, Indiana, they are now led by Curt Cignetti. So interesting. Kalen DeBoer obviously kind of sharpened his teeth at Indiana in his coaching career. Curt Cignetti did the same, but at Alabama under Nick Saban in the earlier parts of his tenure in Tuscaloosa. So very interesting dynamic between the two coaches, and you'll hear a little bit of that from Curt Cignetti. But let's get into it. This is us kind of leading in, and then Curt Cignetti, the Indiana head coach, offering up his preview and answering some media questions about the showdown with Alabama on New Year's Day.
Indiana currently a 7-point favorite over the Alabama Crimson Tide. Over under sits at 48 as Indiana and Alabama. This is the first ever meeting between these two teams.
Crazy to think.
Yeah.
Just go back 2 or 3 years and tell an Indiana fan they'd be playing Alabama in the Rose Bowl in the college football playoff. I don't think they would believe it.
Be pretty excited about that.
Yes.
There is no doubt.
Oh, and by the way, you're the number 1 seed.
Yeah, it's not Alabama. It's
you.
Indiana.
Yeah.
Well, let's see if Alabama can have a better Rose Bowl experience than the last time they were there.
Yeah. It was a good game at least, but
all right.
Yeah.
Curt Cignetti, he is now speaking with the media. Rose Bowl press conference.
CFP quarterfinal at the Rose Bowl game presented by Prudential against the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Yeah, 2 days into our prep, obviously need to have a great 2 weeks of preparation, against a great Alabama football team. And, team's excited about it, but, focused on the process. Got a lot of respect for Alabama. Coach DeBoer, been following his career for a long time. He kind of started out at a lower level like I did. And ever since he went to Washington, really kind of studied his offense and think he's a great coach.
Thank you, Coach. We'll now open up the floor for questions. Please raise your hand to ask a question using the raise hand icon within Zoom. If and when your question is selected, please unmute your microphone and state your name and media outlet before asking your question. Once your question has been answered, your microphone will be muted and your hand will be lowered. Our first question comes from Jeff Rabjohns.
Good afternoon, Coach. Appreciate your time. Working on a story about your receiving corps, particularly Surratt and Cooper, and just what has made them elite receivers. Just like to get your thoughts from the head coach's chair. Why are they so good? And what is the best trait for each one of them, if it's similar or different?
Yeah, well, Surratt and Cooper have both been starters for 2 years. Now, when you look at the core, you got to include E.J. Williams and Charlie Becker in that group as well, who have made a lot of big plays for us this season. Becker, particularly, the last 4 games. But Surratt is a guy that just loves football. He's a football guy. He's got great hands. He's really good at contested catches. He's an extremely intelligent football player. He's got good size, and he made a lot of big plays for us. Started out at the Division I AA or FCS level, and then joined us at JMU, and then came with us to Indiana. Omar Cooper is from Indianapolis, was on the team in 23 and played a role in 23, the year before I came, and made big plays for us in 24 and has elevated his game in 25. And he's an explosive guy. He's really good after the catch. And, just has a lot of potential and ability, and has become more consistent. Still has more steps in consistency he can take, but I've seen him really progress and evolve.
Thanks, Coach.
Our next question comes from Mike Niziolek.
Yeah, Curt, I think on your last Zoom with us, you mentioned getting through all the retention discussions kind of the week before you guys jumped into prep. How important was it to kind of get through all of those the way the calendar is structured right now? And did that give you kind of a clear picture and what you need to know kind of as things open up again right after this game's done too?
Yeah, it's critical, and it certainly did clear the picture up quite a bit, because the emphasis before we knew who the opponent would be was on the 27 team and retention and needs. And we got a few practices in as well to stay sharp, and got refreshed and got in the weight room. but we're probably 95% through, what I would call the key guys, sort of the guys everybody knows. And so we're almost home, in that front.
Our next question comes from Max Cohen.
Hey, Coach, you spent several seasons in Tuscaloosa before becoming a head coach. I'm wondering what your memories are of your time with Alabama and what the program means to you.
Yeah, we had a great experience at Alabama. It was a real important part of my journey. Learned a lot from Coach Saban in terms of organization, standards, stock and complacency. I wouldn't be where I am today without my time under Nick. My family really enjoyed Tuscaloosa. We had great years there. Of course, we took over a team. We were 7-6 our first year, and 12-0 the next year in the regular season. Fell short in the SEC game to Tebow and Florida and Urban, and then had a rematch the next year and beat them, and won national championship out at the Rose Bowl. So we had 4 really good years there, and then began another part of our life.
Our next question comes from Jordan Mendoza.
Hey, Coach, Jordan Mendoza with USA Today Sports. I know last season there was a lot of talk about the layoff for the teams that get the first round bye. I'm curious for you, have you enjoyed kind of just having that kind of more time to kind of prepare and get the team healthy, or would you have preferred to maybe get this game played a little sooner than when you guys play the Big Ten title game?
Well, it is what it is, so you make the most of it. And the way we approached it until we knew the opponent, we treated it like 2 bye weeks. And now we have almost 2 weeks to prepare for the opponent. So would I prefer to play earlier? Yeah, I probably would, to be quite honest with you. But that's not the case. So we're excited about playing. We're off to a good start, and it'd be a tremendous challenge.
Our next question comes from Zach Osterman. Okay, I think Zach's question's down. Our next question will come from Zach Browning.
Hey, Coach. Obviously, last time you talked to us, you brought up the fact that Stephen Daly out for likely the rest of the season. What does the process look like for trying to find the next avenue to replace that production, and kind of what does that process look like over the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, well, Brian Haynes does a great job coordinating our defense. We have a lot of confidence in our players, and we'll find the best solution, and that gives us the best chance to be successful.
Now going back to Zachary Osterman with a question.
Sorry about that, Kurt. I think I didn't get to the mute button, the unmute button quite as quick as I needed to. That's my bad. I wanted to circle back to your time at Alabama, and I'm sure we've asked you about this in some shape or form, but that was your last stop, obviously, before you started your career as a head coach. And I'm just curious, whether it's since you knew Alabama was your opponent or just at various different times, have you reflected on the pieces of kind of what you call the blueprint that you might have taken from your time at Alabama, whether it's the way you build a roster, whether it's the way you sort of maintain a staff, a locker room? Are there things that are kind of in that blueprint for you that you can say that was something that really formed in my mind when I was at Alabama?
I probably think about it every single day, to be quite honest with you, because it had such an impact in my growth and development. And I think philosophically, the program that we run here is probably a lot more the same than different than Alabama. So there's probably not a day that goes by where I don't draw from those experiences.
Our next question comes from Jim Coyle.
Kurt, obviously you probably at least watched some of Alabama in the Oklahoma game. What was it about their team that you saw that you took away? Obviously, probably didn't pay any attention to them during the regular season. Now, obviously, a big reason for that. What about their team has caught your attention and something you have to plan for most of all, you think?
Well, I actually did get to watch some of them early in the year because we had a couple bye weeks, and I'm a film junkie, and I've always enjoyed studying Coach DeBoer's offenses from the time he was at Washington. So, I got to watch their first Georgia game and some of their other things. They do a lot of really great stuff. In terms of the Oklahoma game, that was a tremendous comeback on the road in a hostile environment. To come back from 17 points down and come out with a win. And I think it tells you a lot about the character of their football team. They got a lot of great players. They're extremely well coached. And so, they're a really good team. It'll be a tremendous challenge.
That is Kirk Cignetti, the head football coach of the Indiana Hoosiers, bestowing a lot of praise on the former school that he was an assistant coach under Nick Saban. As you heard multiple times, he mentioned, Conrad, the fact that a day does not go by that he does not think about his time at the University of Alabama.
No, and I like kind of one of his answers. It was, he was talking about how, back in 2008, you lose the SEC title game to Urban Meyer in Florida. You come back the next year, win in the Rose Bowl where they're going to be playing again in 10 days. And just him, it was a great 4 years. And then we moved on. It's like very matter of fact about it. But no, it's cool to hear him talk about his days there at Alabama, and certainly one of the best coaches in college football right now. It should be a great matchup between him and Kalen DeBoer.
Yeah, said he studies Kalen DeBoer's offenses over the last couple of years. So he's been very impressed by this Alabama team, especially overcoming a 17-0 deficit in the college football playoff on the road in a hostile environment there in Norman, Oklahoma.
Wrapping up hour number 3 here on the holiday edition of Three Man Front. So you've gotten to hear from now Kalen DeBoer and Kurt Signetti this hour as the two coaches getting their teams, Alabama and Indiana, ready for a clash in the Rose Bowl coming up on New Year's Day. But there is a lot of other news going on around the world of college football outside of just Alabama and Indiana and the college football playoff. So here's what you need to know heading into the holidays. Some big news for Auburn in the transfer portal, and a former SEC head coach now working with Bill Belichick, as well as some scheduling changes for Notre Dame moving forward. So this is kind of the headlines, everything else going on in the college football world that you need to know right now.
You know, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, not only did they not want to play in the Pop-Tarts Bowl, they chickened out of that one just because they got their feelings hurt because they didn't make the college football playoff. Well, now it's being reported that they have officially bowed out of their series against USC. So no more of the USC Trojans and the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. And guess who Notre Dame is now going to play for the next 2 years? The team that they would not play in the Pop-Tarts Bowl. They're playing BYU the next 2 years.
Okay,
So the Mormons and the Catholics will get together.
Okay, I'll at least give them credit for scheduling BYU and not
It's a Power 4 opponent.
a directional state school.
Yeah.
I'll give them credit for that.
Or a MAC school.
Or a MAC school.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we've seen them lose to MAC schools.
So Notre Dame and USC, they failed to reach an agreement to extend their historic season. In fact, the Irish are now putting the finishing touches on a 2-year deal with BYU. And the first game is going to be played in Provo in October.
Okay. Sign me up for that. I'm good with that.
And the rub between USC and Notre Dame had to do with the fact that Notre Dame wanted to continue to play the game late in the year, and USC was not for that.
No.
USC wanted to play it at the beginning of the year because, one, on the odd years in which they had to travel to South Bend, they're probably playing in inclement weather.
Well, and you also, if you're going to lose a game like that against Notre Dame, you probably want to lose it earlier in the year and have time to make up for it.
Right.
In terms of making a playoff push.
Yeah.
Well, snow never hurt nobody.
Well,
no.
It's just going to be interesting to see who's the head coach of Notre Dame at that game next year.
Some breaking news out of the state of North Carolina this morning. I'll be the first to admit that I did not see this coming, but the University of North Carolina, they have a new offensive coordinator. It's a very familiar name in the Southeastern Conference by the name of Bobby Petrino. Yes, folks, you heard me right. Bobby Petrino, the interim head coach of Arkansas, the former head football coach at Arkansas, who was fired after having an affair and then had a motorcycle accident on that Harley Davidson.
Then wore a backwards neck brace.
Yes, to a press conference. He was hired today by Bill Belichick.
Who would have thought that Bill Belichick would give the college football media a Christmas miracle of all the people? This is hilarious.
I hope Bill Belichick's girlfriend rides in on a Harley Davidson
That would be
and starts the rumor mill.
Yes. This is, I'll be honest, I'm fascinated to see how it plays out because I think we all agree, right? Bobby Petrino is a very good offensive mind. That's just a match made in heaven, isn't it?
All right, so Belichick's what, 73?
72, 73. And Bobby is what?
64.
60. Oh, okay. Okay.
So see, Jordan would be upgrading.
So is he just doing the same thing he did at Arkansas and hoping that he'll be the head coach in waiting when Bill Belichick retires in a year or two?
I guess.
That's okay. I mean, again, for a second year in a row, you've got my attention, North Carolina. I'm going to be fascinated to watch. It's probably going to end up in a disaster, but I can't wait to watch.
So I had some people texting, wanted to know if there's any updates on the transfer portal for Auburn. And I can tell you this, if you saw it yesterday on social media, quarterback Ashton Daniels, he's announced that he is going to enter the transfer portal when it opens next month. Remember, he started 3 games for the Tigers, and they even set him out a game in the hopes that he would have one more year of eligibility, which he will. He'll just won't do it at Auburn. In a statement on Instagram, Daniels says he wanted to return, and it's a direct quote, "Things didn't work out how I thought they would," end of quote. So you got Jackson Arnold, who intends to enter the transfer portal, leaving only redshirt freshman Deuce Knight, a former top 50 recruit, as the only member of the Auburn quarterback room.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because I know a lot of people have, or I guess there's been a belief since Alex Golesh came there that Byron Brown would just waltz in there and take the job as starting QB, or at least compete with Deuce Knight for that job. But, okay. I mean, look, if you're Auburn, I know maybe you don't like the fact that you've had so many people enter the portal so far, but I thought Deuce Knight looked really, really good against Mercer. I think you have a lot to work with there and a whole offseason to develop. And we know Alex Golesh. I mean, you look at Byron Brown, like you kind of look at Deuce Knight and go, oh, he just looks like a bigger, maybe more athletic version of Byron Brown, right? He's got a little bit more of the frame, a bigger arm, but all the same mobility. And I think you could see Alex Golesh having a lot of success with him if he sticks around.
I highly recommend for those that are interested, if you are a subscriber to Auburn Undercover, Nathan King wrote an outstanding article last night in which he details what's going on with the Auburn transfer portal situation and the budget that they have. And I know that it was reported a couple weeks ago that Auburn was looking around $30 million. Nathan King, he kind of lays out more of a $20 to $25 million range in that, which is still a tremendous amount of money.
Oh, yeah.
Nathan also lays out that a lot of these deals for the Auburn roster from this previous season was all front-loaded contracts, which...
Because they were in win-now mode this year.
Correct. So they kind of overpaid for some dudes that may not have delivered what they were hoping for, but that was the deals that Nathan was laying out in his article. Also, it's interesting to note that for all those people that thought it was so important to keep DJ Durkin as your defensive coordinator so you could retain the defensive roster.
Yeah, it's been rough.
That just has not happened.
No.
Auburn is now down to another starter in the secondary with Kayan Lee expected to transfer. You already had Jay Crawford announced last week that he was leaving. So for all those people that said that you got to keep DJ Durkin, and you probably ran John Sumrall off as the head coach because Sumrall wanted to have his own defensive coordinator, but we kept hearing that it was, something that obviously John Cohen and the Auburn people really wanted DJ Durkin to be a part of that next staff. And John Sumrall decided, you know what, I'll take the Florida job and I'll hire the people that I want to hire. But Auburn's in trouble now on the defensive side because you got a lot of these guys that you were counting on sticking around, at least for right now. This could be a negotiating ploy. Keep that in mind.
Yeah, and again, these guys can still renegotiate and come back to Auburn if they want to, or if Auburn is, allows them to, I guess maybe would be a better way to phrase it. But no, and look, to be honest, there's been a lot of guys for Auburn whose names have gone in the portal, and a lot of those are guys that you look at and go, oh, okay. Like it wasn't somebody that was a contributor or somebody where the loss was going to be immediately felt. Now, a couple of these guys, Jay Crawford, Kayan Lee, that's a little bit of a different situation there, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they navigate this because, I know the secondary wasn't great at times for Auburn this year, but, those were your two starting cornerbacks that you're now down. And even just from the depth standpoint, that's going to make things more difficult and losing some guys on the defensive line. So they've got their work cut out for them, but the portal will open in early January, and we'll see what kind of work they do.
Let's go to the phones. Don joins us on this Reaction Monday. Hey, Don, happy holidays.
Hey, guys. Happy Merry Christmas to you guys. I know you're not going to be there the rest of the week. I definitely wanted to call in first to wish you guys a Merry Christmas to you and your families.
Appreciate that very much.
Thank you, Don.
Okay, but I do have some the news to follow up on what you just said. It was just announced that Byron Brown is transferring.
That he's entering the portal, or has he picked a destination?
Well, nobody's entered officially yet. Just intended to leave and everything, which is a big point. And some of these guys could come back, but Pat, and you're right. Nathan King had a beautiful article. I read it yesterday myself. And the fact is, we just overpaid these people the last 2 years. That's the thing. We're not gonna pay them what we were paying them because they didn't do anything on the field.
That's right, and that's the way it is now. And that's why if all these deals were front loaded. And these guys are expecting Auburn to come back and pay them the same amount of money, I think Auburn's doing the right thing and letting them go.
I agree.
Okay, and also, too, going back to South Florida, there's going to be two defensive backs that are leaving, and a really, really, really good defensive lineman. I believe this last name is Mitchell. So,
well, one thing's for sure. I think fandoms, and that includes Alabama fans in a couple of weeks, or whenever they're eliminated in the college football playoff, and then guys are going to go in the portal. It is such a crapshoot. I mean, for those that say that Auburn's not going to be any good because all these guys are leaving, I mean, that's an inaccurate statement. Just like if teams got guys coming back for another year of the deal, doesn't mean that they're going to be able to replicate what they did this previous year. I mean,
South Carolina.
Yeah, I mean, it really is just a crapshoot now every year, and we talk about it all the time, Don, but it's the NFL light now. I mean, that's exactly what it is.
It is, and January the 2nd through January 16th is going to be like a free agency season. Okay.
Mm-hmm. It sure is. Don, I hope you and your family have a wonderful holiday. Thanks for the call.
Well, hey, thank you guys, and that was one of the main reasons I wanted to call today. You guys we've had a great year together, and we'll be back at Social Taco in a couple of weeks. Everybody.
Sounds good. Thank
Absolutely.
you, Don.
Merry Christmas, Don.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
All right, kicking off the final hour of the holiday edition of Three Man Front, I am Conrad Van Order. One more hour to go. We'll be back with you on Monday to start the week of New Year's, as well as the quarterfinals of the college football playoff. So a lot of fun conversations to be had next week. We hope that you'll join us, and we hope that you have a very, very Merry Christmas and a wonderful holidays with your loved ones here over the next couple of days, as that's where we will be as well. So let's kick off this fourth hour. We're going to get back into the college football playoff talk. So some more of the reaction around Alabama's win over Oklahoma, but also our big takeaways from the other games over the weekend. You had Miami over Texas A&M, Ole Miss, Oregon. They're both advancing. What did we see? What did we take away from the entirety of the first round of the college football playoff? That's what we have for you now.
We're off the rest of this week after today, so hope everybody has a wonderful Christmas. And we'll be back and we'll start our preview of the Indiana Hoosiers taking on the Alabama Crimson Tide, as the Tide took care of business 34-24 against the Oklahoma Sooners on Friday night. Ty Simpson, 232 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 turnovers. That was the most important thing. Still has problems when he's being pressured. He was 1 of 8 when Oklahoma brought pressure for only 12 yards. When he's not pressured, he's 17 of 21 for 220 yards and 2 touchdowns. So a little bit of difference when that offensive line is able to give him a second or two more to kind of go through his progression. So Simpson has had 5 passing plays of 20-plus yards against Oklahoma. He's up to 54 passing plays of 20 or more yards this season. That leads the Southeastern Conference and is tied for the 4th most amongst FBS quarterbacks. So once again, you give him time, and you're able to see what he's able to do dissecting the defenses.
Yeah, and he's struggled on some of the deep, down the field passing at times this year. And we've talked about that, but he goes 4 of 4 on passes over 20 yards on Friday. I think that has to make you feel good. Granted, one of them, a fantastic catch by Jeremy Bernard, doing his best Randy Moss, Tyrone Prothro impersonation there. But we talked about the throw that he had to Horton. There were some really good throws mixed in there. And the drops were, again, a problem for Alabama. So it could have been even better from a stat line perspective. But once you saw in the second half, like you mentioned, he had a little bit of time. He really started to kind of get in that groove. And it felt like a lot of it was he started to have the confidence that guys were going to do their job and block and give him time. And once he got comfortable, he was letting it rip. So hopefully that continues in, 9 days against Indiana.
You think about Zabian Brown, who's a California kid who came to Alabama. He made his presence known early in the Kalen DeBoer era, in which he was able to knock down a pass in the Georgia win at Bryant-Denny Stadium. Then he had the pick 6 against Tennessee and now a pick 6 against Oklahoma. So Zabian Brown, the sophomore, is making quite the name for himself. Matter of fact, the pick 6, he becomes just the 12th player in Alabama history with 2 pick 6s in the same year. And it's the first time since Jordan Battle back in 2021.
Oh, he was so good.
When he had a couple of pick 6s.
Yeah, and he's now tied, which, I mean, I guess it's not surprising, but the 2 pick 6s is the most any player has in college football this year. So that's very, very impressive by him. And they've come at, I mean, you think about that Tennessee game, how big of a shift that was right before halftime. And they ultimately go on to win that one by double digits. And then I think a lot of people would point to Friday night. That was the big turning point where Oklahoma really started to wither away after that.
Alabama is losing another coach on the staff, as Nick Sheridan, who was last year's offensive coordinator. This year, he went back to the role as a quarterback coach and also working with some tight ends. He is heading to East Lansing, Michigan. The former Michigan quarterback is now going to be the offensive coordinator for Michigan State.
And look, that's a great opportunity for him. I'm glad he's going to go and get another chance to be an offensive coordinator, because we talked about it last year, right? He was thrown into a tough position with Ryan Grubb, I guess, coming to Alabama for like 3 days and then going to the Seattle Seahawks. And that was a tough situation for your first year as a full-time offensive coordinator. And I think now, though, moving forward, if you're an Alabama fan, and I think that whole offensive staff's done a really good job this year, but, next year or in the future, it looks like Keelan Russell is that guy for the future. Nick Sheridan played a huge role in recruiting him and getting him to Tuscaloosa. So even though he may be gone, you may get to enjoy some of the fruits of his labor for the next couple of years with Keelan Russell and all of his potential.
And with Sheridan gone and Derek Nix from Auburn being hired on the Alabama staff. So seems like that would be a good place for Derek Nix, who was the offensive coordinator. I use air quotes there for Auburn this year, because we all know who the offensive coordinator was.
That's correct. And we had heard that Nix was going to be the wide receivers coach and fill that void for Jamarcus Shepard. But yeah, you do wonder if maybe there's a little bit more of an expanded role with Nick Sheridan on the way out. But hey, he did a great job his 2 years at Alabama, helped build the foundation for the next couple of years, and best of luck to him under Pat Fitzgerald there at Michigan State.
So the Alabama line against Indiana, it's fluctuating between 6.5 and 7, as the Hoosiers are the favorite in this game. Since 2009, this would be the 11th time in 16 years that Alabama has been an underdog. In the previous 10, Bama is 7-3 as an underdog, straight up.
It's pretty good.
It's very good. And matter of fact, if you go back to some of these point spreads throughout time, it's been pretty amazing, Alabama being able to perform as an underdog. So we'll see if that line will fluctuate, because the Oklahoma game the other night, I think it literally went off as a 2.5 point favorite for Oklahoma.
Okay, so it grew even a little bit more after
Sure
we
did.
went off the air on Friday. Yeah, it's gonna be a great matchup. We got a lot of time to talk about it next week, but I thought Nick brought up a great point. You just go and look at what Indiana's done, and they beat Ohio State in a great game there in the Big Ten Championship. But I think a lot of people remember every team that got a first-round bye last year lost their first game. Maybe that a little too much rest for them almost. And you also can feel pretty good because you go back and look, and I mean, outside of the Ohio State game in the Big Ten Championship, the toughest game that Indiana has played in the last 2 months was Penn State, a team which they only beat by 3 points. And I think that right there, a lot of people went, okay, Penn State's having a rough year, but from a talent standpoint, maybe closer to Indiana than some of these other teams. And that gives you a little confidence, I think, if you're Alabama, because you're definitely more battle-tested than they are, but Indiana is number one for a reason.
So you had that game Friday night with Alabama coming from behind and knocking off Oklahoma. The very next morning, you had Miami and Texas A&M. It was the first scoreless opening half in college football playoff history, scoreless at College Station. The first three quarters, Miami only had 85 yards rushing, but they had 90 in the fourth quarter. They averaged 13 yards per carry in that final stanza for the Hurricanes. The Aggie offense averaged more than 36 points this season, and they failed to get a touchdown against Miami at home. A&M historians, they said that this was the worst loss in program history since 1975. That was when A&M was 10-0, undefeated, number 2 in America, and Arkansas beat them and knocked the Aggies out of a potential playing for a national championship. So it's been a minute since they were put in that position, and Miami, give all the credit in the world for the Hurricanes, what they were able to do on the road in a very hostile environment and really find a running game to take care of business.
I was about to say, Mark Fletcher was the reason that Miami won that game, and I mean, he was just incredible. 172 yards on 17 carries, averaged over 10 yards per rush. And that was really the story of the game, right? Because Carson Beck, he throws for 103 yards, but he doesn't turn the ball over, which had plagued Miami in their losses this year. So he played safe, protected the football, and let the running game kind of do their business. And I think everyone watching that game, when Texas A&M gets that fumble late on Tony, and you see him on the sideline, tore up, looks like he's crying on the sideline, just can't believe that he, in his mind, he's like, I probably just lost this game for Miami. I think we all knew, hey, if Miami gets a chance to go down and win or tie this thing, Tony's going to get the ball, and he's going to make something happen, and he did that by scoring the game-winning touchdown. But, yeah, I mean, this one, if it stings for Oklahoma and their loss, it stings even more if you're Texas A&M. I mean, you won 11 games. You were ahead of schedule in Mike Elko's second year, and you can hang your hat on a lot of those things. But you just look, and it's, again, as far as 11-win seasons go, this is a pretty empty one. You didn't beat your rival. You didn't make a conference championship game. You didn't win a conference title. You make the playoff, you get a home game, and you lose, and you can only score 3 points. So, again, I think a lot of A&M fans are happy that they made it to the playoff and probably weren't expecting that at the beginning of the year, but they are who I guess we thought they were, right? They didn't play a tough schedule. They beat Notre Dame earlier in the year. That was impressive, but when you played two good teams at the end in Texas and Miami, you come up short in both of them.
Yeah, you mentioned they posted 11 victories for the first time in over a decade. Their win against Notre Dame, it was A&M's first non-conference road victory over a ranked opponent since 1979. Wow. They defeated LSU in Baton Rouge for the first time in more than 30 years. So they do have a couple of things that they can hang their hat on. But like you mentioned, you lose to your big rival when when it mattered the most.
Could have gotten a first-round bye in the playoff, been in the SEC championship probably.
Championship game, absolutely. And so you lose there, and then you get a home game, and then you stink it up and lose to Miami. Also, fact that needs to be reminded is that Texas A&M is now 0-1 when Jimbo Fisher is on the sideline as their former coach.
Great point.
He did pregame
I did. I
for
saw
the
him.
SEC Network.
Yeah, I saw some pictures with him down there.
The Grove was hopping on Saturday. Ole Miss did not take long. Their first play from scrimmage, 30-yard completion. Their second play was a 25-yard completion. Their third play was a 20-yard rushing touchdown by Lacey.
Pretty good.
Yeah. They jumped out to a 14-0 lead. Ole Miss had almost 500 yards of total offense. It was getting a little questionable there towards the back end because you had a couple of guys. Chambliss and Lacey both were dinged up, but Pete Golden said after the game that both guys were okay. Now Pete Golden has more wins in the CFP than Lane Kiffin has.
Yes, he does. And I let me find that because I put this tweet out on Saturday morning, and I thought it was pretty funny. And you could add more names to this list, but Pete Golding now has more playoff wins than these coaches do combined. Lane Kiffin, Kurt Signetti, Dan Lanning, Brian Kelly, and Lincoln Riley. All names that we think of when you think of
That's beautiful.
I guess the best coaches in the game right now. A lot of those guys would be on that list.
Now Lanning got his first one.
Well, Dan Lanning did get his
Saturday
first one.
afternoon.
Correct.
Saturday night.
Correct.
So, a crowd of 68,000 there at Vaught Hemingway Stadium. They also not only they say it was the biggest sporting event in the history of the state of Mississippi. They also set a Guinness World Record.
Really?
Yes.
For what?
The largest gathering of people wearing Santa hats. They gave out Santa hats before the game.
Did you see the one Santa tailgate that had the message for Lane Kiffin on it?
I did not.
What does Santa say commonly?
Ho, ho, ho.
You can kind of piece the puzzle together from there.
Gotcha. The previous mark of a crowd wearing Santa hats was by the Anaheim Angels, 30,333.
Okay.
So they kind of easily doubled that number. And on top of that, speaking of Lane, congratulations, because he got a $250,000 bonus because Ole Miss won.
That was very good to see.
Yes,
I'm very happy.
He needs the money.
And so remind us quickly, because we had talked about this a couple weeks ago, the economic impact, wasn't it like $50 million? $50
to $60
for
million.
Oxford?
Yes.
Good for them.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. So Ole Miss advances, and we just mentioned Dan Lanning. That just what a weird game. And, man, if you had James Madison and the points, good for you. If you didn't, Molly, you had a rough weekend.
I know. I did have a bad weekend.
You went 0-5.
I thought I got Ole Miss in Tulane.
Mm-mm.
Oh, never mind.
Nope. You had the over.
Oh, I thought I had Ole Miss in the points. Maybe not.
Mm-mm. According to I got.
We can go check the tape.
Conrad and Landrum.
No, I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think I'm wrong.
So you.
Dang, I went into that whole game thinking I got one right, and I didn't get any right.
No,
The
you went 0-5.
turntables.
Yeah, that sucks.
Hey, it's all right. We still got more better. Forget it to go.
Yeah.
So Landrum is now in front by one game over you.
Mm-hmm.
You went 3-2.
I had a nice weekend. Thanks, James Madison. Could have gone 4-1.
Landrum went 2-3. Molly went 0-5. So Molly, now you've got a little work to do to get back in it.
It's probably not going to happen.
Molly, remember where I was 3 weeks ago and where I am now.
Yeah,
Anything can happen.
The last couple of weeks have been bad for me, though.
It's
I don't know
all right.
how I've been behind Landrum.
You're just ready for the quarterfinals. You're good.
Yeah.
Plenty of
I
opportunities.
was about to say, you got a couple days off, really do your research, and be firing on all cylinders.
This is why I don't gamble, people.
Yes.
Well, there was a lot of people that was very anxious towards the back end of that game because I think the majority of America took the Ducks and the points.
When you had a fourth down at the end of the game, just get one stop,
Ugh.
and you win by, what, 24?
Mm-hmm.
Golly.
The Dukes, not the Ducks, the Dukes outscored Oregon 27-17 in the second half. And they had 194 yards in the fourth quarter against the Ducks defense.
They put out some good tape for some guys that
Yeah.
maybe want opportunities elsewhere.
Mm-hmm. Yep. James Madison's 509 yards of offense was the most this season yielded by Oregon.
Texas Tech like to see that.
Yep.
A little vulnerable there, maybe.
Of course, now a group of 5 teams are 0-4 in the college football playoff.
And for the first, and I guess maybe it's just that we've had a couple of years of this now. It was just interesting how everybody seemed to jump on that same conversation that we had a couple of weeks ago, which is now everyone saying, these group of 5 teams, we got to find a way to get them out of the playoff or give them their own playoff. It was just interesting that this seemed to be the straw that broke the camel's back for a lot of college football fans of, I don't want to watch this stuff because, I mean, I was talking about it this morning. Were you locked into the Oregon JMU game? Because I wasn't. I had it on and I was watching it, but if something else I had to go and do, I was going to go do that because you knew what was going to happen after the first 15 minutes of the game. And I think we all agree we want to see more competitive matchups than that. But thanks, ACC, I guess. Part of the problem this year. But
yeah,
things will change, I'm sure.
We roll along here on the Tuesday holiday edition of Three Man Front, the final hour here for you as we take you into the Paul Feinbaum Show from 2 to 6, and then the Christmas holidays. Christmas Eve tomorrow, and then Christmas coming up on Thursday. So hope all of you have a wonderful holiday. We'll be back with you on Monday to start the Alabama-Indiana previews and all of that good stuff as we get ready for the next round of the college football playoffs. But we wanted to revisit with our good friend Coach Bill Clark, former UAB head coach, because he joins the program each and every week here on Three Man Front, and a little bit of transfer portal talk to get you into it, and then the Coach Bill Clark gives you his takeaways from round one of the CFP.
Been following some transfer portal rumblings, and the big one today, Byron Brown, who is the quarterback for South Florida, had 4,166 yards, 42 touchdowns, 7 interceptions this last season. He has announced on Instagram that is heading into the transfer portal. So many eyes will now turn to Lee County, Alabama, to see if the Auburn Tigers will be his next landing spot.
Yeah, and that's been the, kind of been the belief, right? Unsurprisingly, since Alex Golesh was named the head coach, that Byron Brown would follow him over here. We know that he didn't play in the bowl game, but he was there as a coach, quasi-coach on the sideline. So we knew he was going to enter the transfer portal, and it would make a lot of sense for him to go to Auburn. And if you're Alex Golesh, maybe that makes the transition a little easier of having a signal caller that you're familiar with and knows how to run your offense and, the kind of style of things that you want to do. So we'll see where Byron Brown ends up. But even if it's not at Auburn, I would expect that he would have a number of suitors. And whether that's elsewhere in the SEC or another Power 4 school, I think he'll be just fine. But definitely worth monitoring how they navigate with Byron Brown, because Deuce Knight is also still there. And he's the only quarterback that's still there right now with Ashton Daniels and Jackson Arnold transferring.
So we'll wait to see what exactly takes place with that. Coach Bill Clark, former UAB head coach, is going to join us momentarily on the show as we'll get his thoughts on the college football playoff. If you missed any of our interviews today, we had some really good ones. We had Nick Kelly at 10:30. At 11:30, you had our good friend Trey Wallace from Outkick. And joining us now on the Higginbotham Hotline is a good friend of the program, brought to you each and every Monday by Donahue Chevrolet. This is Bill Clark on the program.
Three-Man Front is brought to you by Donahue Chevrolet. Learn more at DonahueChevrolet.com. And now, Coach Bill Clark.
Coach Bill Clark joins us on the Higginbotham Hotline. Coach, man, what a game on Friday night.
Wow, I mean, that's the kind you want as a fan of Alabama, when you get the big lead against you and then just to see the heart and the fight and all those things that you're looking for. I think people ask me, how do they get down like that? And I think people don't really understand what happens when a team has extra time to prepare. You're going to see things you hadn't seen. They're going to have, different schemes that maybe you hadn't prepared for, or they're kind of, have worked on you a lot. So I think that was kind of what it was early. And I think as soon as Alabama got that first touchdown, it really settled them down and got them going.
Coach, I wanted to ask from your perspective, when you're in that situation, obviously it's a win or go home game, right, in the playoff, but you're on the road. It's a team you played before. It's 17-0, and you feel like a lot of the mistakes that have reared their head this season keep popping up for you again. How difficult in that situation is it as a coach to kind of rally the troops and get them to all believe that, hey, one step at a time, the game's going to come back to you? Just really impressed with how Kalen DeBoer navigated that. But how difficult is that as a coach when you're down that big in that spot to rally your team?
Yeah, you got to have a lot of great self-talk because it's easy, especially when you've lost to that team twice. I mean, so I think they had a lot of great self-talk. I think, I'll be honest with you, the first touchdown was critical for them because it looked like just the collective relief because of maybe, how they were feeling about the offense and probably a lot of disappointment. And then to get that first touchdown, they looked like a totally different team after that.
Coach, in regards to Brent Venables, it's a coach that you know really well, and we've detailed that on the Bill Clark Show here Thursday nights on Jocks. In regards to his schemes, and based on what you saw the other night, was it something that Alabama had adjusted to from the previous meeting, or why do you think Alabama was starting to finally have a little bit of success offensively against Venables and some of the things he was doing defensively?
Yeah, without getting into a ton of X and O's, and I think all our fans out there would think about how quick Alabama was getting to the line of scrimmage. You notice they started really doing a lot of the short huddle or the sugar huddle, we call it, and bursting to the line of scrimmage and calling it. And that was because if you're watching on the sideline, if you're watching Oklahoma, and one time he said it into his microphone, you're wrong. Now, that could have been you're wrong about, a call, or it could have been you were wrong on the signal you thought you saw. So, and, it never bothered me as a coach if somebody legitimately was getting signals during the game. I mean, that's all part of it. And I think Oklahoma, just like a lot of offensive team, does the same. But I think the tempo of getting to the line, not letting him have so much time to pick apart what they were seeing and just get up there and ran the play. I think Alabama's tempo, that was something they spent a lot of time on of we're going to go fast. We're not going to let them make checks or bring in different personnels, and I think that paid off as the game went on.
So we were talking a little bit earlier about Jeff Allen and the strength and conditioning coach there at Alabama and how important he has been to getting these guys back on track because we saw how banged up they were just a couple of weeks ago in Atlanta. I just wanted to kind of get, from your perspective, how important are those guys to a staff? Because those are the kind of guys that I feel like don't get a credit a lot of the time, and it was good to see a lot of people around the Alabama program giving that credit to Jeff Allen for the job he did. But just how important is it to have a guy like that in there that can get your team healthy? Because we know everybody's banged up at this time of year, but it seemed pretty remarkable how quickly in just a 10-day period of time those players looked a lot healthier than they were in Atlanta.
Yeah, Conrad, if this is you, I would say, man, kudos to you for getting that, because I think so many people don't understand, and I would say Jeff Allen is somebody I know very well, is one of the best in the business. Obviously, you got Lyle Kane and the physician group, and I felt like this at UAB. We beat people on how we trained and how we worked and in our medical care. But I would say the state of the art, best of the best. But Jeff Allen's one of the best, and I think we probably all didn't realize just how beat up they were against Georgia. But you can't make that as an excuse because everybody's beat up this time of year. But obviously they got a bunch of players back they needed to get back, and you got to give those guys credit along with the strength and conditioning staff.
All right, so I have to ask you, you had Texas A&M losing at home to Miami, and then, of course, you had Ole Miss winning against Tulane, and then Oregon taking care of James Madison. Of those other games outside the Alabama game, who impressed you of those other teams?
Well, I think Miami was really the one that impressed me the most, just going to Texas A&M. Having, I guess probably sometimes when you get that second life, and I think Miami was that team who we were all very impressed with, at the first of the year. Got to give their defense a lot of credit and how they played. Obviously, Texas A&M, from a place I've played before, that's not an easy task to go in there and find a way to win, especially in a game that big. So they impressed me the most.
So how impressed were you maybe by Ole Miss? And again, this is just my perspective. Maybe you have a different one, but losing Lane Kiffin, we all kind of wondered what that would look like. But to me, it really didn't look like they had much of a drop-off, and even Pete Golding said after the game, like, these kids don't care who runs them out of the tunnel. They just want to go and play football, basically. So was that a surprise to you to see them really not have that drop-off with Lane Kiffin leaving, or was that kind of what you were expecting from Ole Miss?
No, and I think anytime you have adversity, how you handle adversity says a lot. I do think this time of year it is a little bit different. The head coach does a lot about the staff they bring in, the players selected, the overall scheme of the program, how they train. This time of year, as long as there's not some big animosity about their coach leaving, which I'm sure there was some of that. Maybe they played with something to prove. Obviously, having Pete Golding there and keeping a lot of the same staff. I mean, a lot of these guys have been with them all year. So minus the head coach, they're probably playing with a chip on their shoulder now.
No doubt about it. Not to mention the fact, Coach, we've talked about time off, and it was really important for Alabama to get a couple of guys back healthy and get them back on the field. But these teams that had a bye, if you look back to last year's college football playoff, those teams did not perform very well at all. Just ask Oregon and Georgia, because they had first-round byes. How important do you think it was for a team like Alabama to go ahead and get their feet wet and get out there and get those juices flowing again?
Well, I think for them, they had a bad taste to get out of their mouth. They had to get some guys back healthy. So they did have enough time to get healthy, and then it was a chance really just to get back at it. So, we're going to see, coming up, with these next games, what does it look like when you've had an extended time? And I would just say this, as somebody that, has lost a bowl game and won a bowl game, there is a science to it. There is a way to do it. And, we're going to see how they handle it and how that team handles it. And who's going to be better off from sitting or playing.
All right, Coach, we'll let you get out of here with this. When you just look towards the quarterfinals, some very intriguing matchups. We know Alabama, Indiana going to get a lot of attention, but Ole Miss, Georgia rematch. You got Ohio State and Miami. You got Oregon and Texas Tech. Which one of those stands out to you the most as maybe the most competitive matchup, or the one that you're most excited to watch around New Year's?
Well, and I hate to say this just because it's Alabama, but just Indiana. How good are they compared to an SEC team? I want to see every one of those matchups, to be honest, just like I think everybody does. Obviously, Texas Tech is a question mark for a lot of us. Just how good are they, even though, we feel like they're pretty good. How good are they? But I really want to know, how does Indiana stack up against an SEC team, because I've been very impressed with them.
All right, Coach. Well, we appreciate you joining us each and every Monday, and that is done by our friends at Donahue Chevrolet. You can go visit them online, DonahueChevrolet.com. Right now, if you're interested, new 2025 Chevrolet Silverado 1500 High Countries. Those are up to $11,563 off of MSRP. Or if you want the new 2026 Chevy Silverado 2500 HD LT, those are up to $8,913 off of MSRP. Just a couple of the great deals people can find at our good friends at Donahue Chevrolet, Coach.
Yeah, we appreciate our friends at Donahue, obviously, with Christmas tons of great deals and appreciate their support.
Coach, we hope you and your family have a blessed holiday. Merry Christmas, and we'll talk to you next Monday.
All right. Merry Christmas, my friends.
Thank you so much. That's Coach Bill Clark, former UAB head coach, former head coach at Jacksonville State, joining us every single Monday to kind of recap the weekend that was.
Welcome back into Three Man Front here on Jocks. It is the Tuesday before Christmas. I'm Conrad Van Order here with you to send you off into the holiday season. A quick update for you here as we have the Bush's Boca Raton Bowl going on between Louisville and Toledo. A live update for you with just under 4 minutes to go in the first quarter. Louisville up 7-0 there on Toledo, so that's a little bit of a look in there for you, as Toledo now threatening as they're in Louisville territory, so trying to tie this thing up here. But that's your live update. You got 2 more great bowl games coming up tonight that you can enjoy as well. But right now, want to take you back to some of the most fun we've really had on the show in the last couple of weeks. So if you missed it, this all started with a great text from one of our listeners that just kind of inspired us. So this is our take on what an SEC coach's Christmas party might look like.
Text line is open. I like this text. How about this? This one rolling in. Imagine there's an all SEC coaches Christmas party. Who would be the host? Who would get the drunkest? We'll just say wildest. Who would be the designated driver? Who would be the most likely to start a fight? This is good. Just means more Christmas.
Okay.
Thank you, Molly.
I think.
All right, first, can I say the coaches in the state?
Okay.
Kalen DeBoer.
Mm-hmm.
He brings a appetizer that his aunt used to make him in South Dakota, and he shows up.
Like some sort of casserole.
Yep. And he's not trying to look fancy. I'll get to that and what Coach will. No.
Oh, he's bringing a hot dish.
Kalen DeBoer, okay, bringing a hot dish, an appetizer.
Okay.
But it's in the Corningware.
Agreed.
And he's got the.
Yeah.
I can see him rolling in. Alex Golish, just early impressions of Alex Golish. Alex Golish wanted to make sure that everybody brought what they were assigned to bring, and he is organizing.
He strikes me as that.
He's organizing the setup.
Yeah.
I could also see him as DD, designated driver, in case something goes down with another head coach, potentially.
Golish potentially being
Yes.
that.
I could see him being the designated driver.
See, I look at him and Clark Lee very similar. They're not looking for a fight. They're not looking for one. But if one were to spark up, they ain't going out.
No, I don't see Golish backing down.
Right.
No,
It's
not at all.
whoever walks up getting smacked.
He's got the red hair. Does that mean a temper?
A little bit. Like he's got it in him. And Clark Lee is very cerebral. So he is kind of reading the room and was like, hey, y'all ain't gonna make no Vanderbilt jokes in here. I know that. So let's keep it classy in here, guys.
Man, who would be the most likely to start a fight?
Kirby.
You think?
Stop.
I like that.
Kirby, what are you doing? I didn't do anything.
No. He, like, because you see how he is on the sideline. He's like just grabbing his head. He stretches. No, man. Listen. No. Ease up. Like,
so
my wife brought that. My wife brought that. It's okay. It's okay. I didn't know he was allergic to nuts. It's okay. Hey, we're gonna be just fine. We're gonna be just fine. And Mike Elko kind of looks over. Man, I didn't know it was gonna get out of hand like this, but we need to do some straightening. Mike Elko starts the fight. Mike Elko starts it because everybody talks about how much money he's brought in, but he brings in like paper plates or something.
I'm just thinking maybe Summerall early on the job gets a little too excited,
rubs Kirby or
The
somebody
new
the wrong
kid
way.
in the neighborhood.
Yeah, rubs somebody the wrong way.
So I'll bring in this next coach for what I had him doing the day of the Christmas party, getting ready for the Christmas party, and that's Jeff Levy, and he's out by the smoker.
Oh yeah, 100%. He's cool as can be, baby.
But he is cracking cold ones all day long. He comes in, he's got the barbecue smoke just saturated in the clothes that have stains on them.
You know who
cooking all day,
you know
and he
who
doesn't
started
change and he doesn't care.
You know what? I take away Mike Elko starts it. Shane Beamer starts it because he still feels
and
like
then
he's the little brother.
evaporates, and then you can't find Shane Beamer.
He feels like he's the little brother. He got the last invite because everybody forgot. Oh yeah, South Carolina. Come on, yeah. Oh, so we're still just listen. I didn't come here to start anything, but I promise you, like we're gonna finish it. We're gonna finish it.
You do your mouth just like he does.
Yeah, because I've seen him in these press conferences, and it's I don't know what at this point I don't know what more we can do. I brought Lenoris for backup, but if it does get out of hand, I'm going to get behind him and see what we can do. Dylan Stewart, listen, the fact that we even got him here is just insane, but I think that we're going to be okay.
Very nice.
But yeah, Shane Beamer is kind of like that little rascal where he, that last and final shot got to him, and he's ready to scrap a little bit.
And not that this fits his personality, but guess who's showing up late and who is dressed to the nines? Lane Kiffin.
I knew it. Does he have his girlfriend with him?
He takes one
Or
look at
a
he takes
girlfriend?
one look at Pete Golden, and Pete Golden immediately just awesome. Like he's been waiting on this moment all this time. It's like,
You
finally got
think
your back.
Lane's not taking a date?
You don't think?
No. He's leaving his options open.
No, yeah.
Okay, I guess that's true.
Yeah, he's got the other phone in his pocket.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I can fly you from Baton Rouge.
Some of these new coaches, I don't know.
Like
I feel like Silverfield is sitting there texting as all of this is going on, and he's texting maybe family or friends.
He's texting Sam Pittman.
Y'all would not believe what's going on.
Right, he's texting Sam Pittman. What do I do?
What about Coach Strink?
He's just there social. He's bopping around everybody.
See,
having a good
I think
conversation.
he's going to bring the best food.
He's got the ugly Christmas sweater on.
Yes, he's got the spirit. Maybe, guys, let's read
Oh, and
Twas the Night Before Christmas.
He's
together.
got little swag bag gifts that
For
he's going to give all the other coaches, and it's
Yes.
something.
He's
It's
bringing the
some
vibe.
kind of technical gadget.
Like he goes by John Summerall. Hey man, it's your first time, isn't it, buddy? Welcome, man. This is how we do.
That's so Drink.
Easy on the punch.
Don't know what's in there.
We all remember Christmas of 05.
Don't do what I did.
This ain't my first rodeo, guys. I've been here. How's it going? But Kalen DeVore is just easy going. Just,
Yeah.
Like, hey, pleasure to be here. And hey, guys. But Clark Lee is he's off by himself, but he doesn't mind if it does go.
Who gets in a fight? Pete Golding's in a fight.
100%. 100%. The first person he's going to hit is Lane. Like, it doesn't even, like, it could be Ryan Silverfield accidentally starting it, but he's going to punch Lane first.
No, he's going to hit Lane.
No, 100%. That's what
Lane's
starts it.
getting punched.
So, hey, coach, how's Oxford treating you? Boom! Just boom, instantly. Not even a conversation.
You even created this opportunity, but sorry, coach. I got the
And
Ole
Jeff
Miss
Levy's-
people. They want to see it.
Jeff Levy's trying to, like, break it up. All you hear is a cowbell just ding. Hey, guys, hey. Ding, 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 ding.
And see, now, do you have Sark and Brent Venables just kind of in the corner? Because they're also sort of the newer guys in the SEC.
Ooh, Venables.
How do we feel about them?
Venables he's talking some underlying smack. Like, he's just kind of throwing little jabs here and there.
I definitely think they're sitting next to each other at dinner.
They cross their legs. And he's over there talking about drink. Like, look at this guy.
No, Mark Stoops bust up in the party. He's been at it all day.
Somebody said there's a smackdown.
And he goes straight towards Shane Beamer.
Or Hugh Freeze shows up late. Hey, I was golfing. I forgot my invite. Oh, sorry, coach.
We were driving around shopping. I was so close, so I decided to stop by. That's good.
That's perfect. That's perfect.
Our made up SEC coaches
God, that's
party,
funny.
Christmas party, and how that would go.
All right, final segment of the Tuesday holiday edition, of Three Man Front here on Jocks. Appreciate you joining me today. I'm Conrad Van Order. The whole crew, Pat Landrum and Molly, will be back alongside me on Monday after we enjoyed the Christmas holidays with our family, and hope that you do so as well. So for one final time, thank you so very much for everything you do for us here as the wonderful listeners of Three Man Front and Jocks as a whole. Really couldn't do it without you. We hope you have a very happy holidays, and remember the reason for the season, the birth of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. We appreciate you very, very much, and we will see you all on Monday, but we're not going to leave you empty-handed. To close out the week, let's get a little Pat Ponders.
Let's head into the Christmas break with a little Pat Ponders brought to you by Courtesy GMC and Trustful. Question number 1. So besides the group of 5 teams from this weekend, do you believe the CFP seeding was correct in the first round?
Yes, because, and I know we've talked about this a little bit. Like, there's the part of me that goes, I wish they could manipulate certain things to avoid rematches, but I also do like the fact they just rank the teams and aren't really looking at it from that perspective. So in that sense, I do think that they rank the teams properly. Yes, we know that it's really the top 10 teams, not the top 12 teams. But yeah, I think overall the seeding was fair. I mean, you had 2 very competitive games and 2 not very competitive games, which is exactly what we were expecting all along.
I think so, especially besides obviously the Tulane Ole Miss game and maybe the Oregon JMU game. Like, I do think Oregon 5 seed, okay. For Ole Miss, same. Oklahoma, Alabama 8-9, that seemed pretty fair to me. And then just given the way how, like, in the regular season both Miami and A&M both did beat Notre Dame, I think it made sense the way that they were both seeded. And you look at A&M, the regular season, they went 11-1. Yes, they missed out because they lost to Texas on the SEC championship game, but Miami did have those 2 losses, so I think those were seeded fair. So, with all that being said, yes.
Well, and going back to Selection Sunday, yeah, the one thing that, again, we talked about on Selection Sunday that was maybe you felt was unfair was that Texas A&M was behind Ole Miss, and I think now they're maybe a little saltier about that because you would have gotten to play Tulane, but we're splitting hairs at that point.
Right.
Question number 2. Santa gives you one present, the ability to change one aspect of the CFP for next year. What is it?
In terms of something that I think could be implemented in a short period of time, it would be similar to how, from last year to this year, we went from the top 4 conference champions to getting buys to just the top 4 teams getting buys. Top 12 teams get in. If you're a group of 5 team, that's great. And you could even get rid of conference qualifiers, in my opinion, at that point. Just top 12 teams at the end of the year, that's who gets in the playoff.
What I would do is for the second round, a.k.a. the quarterfinal, no bowls, still keep it on campus until the semifinal.
That's a great one.
Maybe like the semifinal, you could have the 2 big bowls and then just keep the next couple of matchups. Keep them on campus because they're so fun. Like, you can't deny that Oklahoma, atmosphere was incredible.
Well, and I think, you look at these games in the next round and, yeah, I mean, like the Rose Bowl, for example, that's far away for Indiana and Alabama fans. I think you'd much rather have people that go, obviously Indiana wants it at home, but I think even Alabama fans would say, yeah, I'll go to Indiana.
Let's go to Bloomington.
Right,
Why
yeah,
not?
it's a new experience.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's
Keep
a
them on campus.
Great suggestion. Yep.
Question number 3. Do you believe Lane Kiffin watched the Ole Miss game this weekend? And if so, where did he watch it?
Lane Kiffin watched it. Well, so he started. So I'm sure at the beginning he watched the first little bit of it. Then maybe, at the end of the first quarter, things are looking good. He goes and does some hot yoga. Then he pops in the sauna for a little bit, watching it on his phone. And then I don't know. I like to think he watched it from his office there in Baton Rouge for the second half, maybe.
See, I was going to say office, but for the earlier game, the A&M Miami game, I think he watched that one from the yoga studio.
Okay, there we
go. An earlier morning yoga class, and then he's at the office.
I could see that.
Yeah.
That sounds about right for Lane.
Well, they got a $250,000 bonus for Ole Miss winning the game.
Where will he be watching the next round game?
Well, like you heard what Trey said.
In the stadium?
Trey said he might be in the stadium.
I bet
in a
he's
suite.
I bet he is.
I hope he is.
Was it true? I had seen a report last week that John Sumrall reportedly invited Lane Kiffin to sit in his box at the game this past weekend. I don't know if that was true or not.
I don't know.
Just an interesting little nugget, if that was true.
Next question. Christmas Day NFL game lineup this year is awful. The NFL Christmas schedule for Thursday includes 4 teams that have already been eliminated from playoff contention. And there's a scenario where 3 of the starting quarterbacks could be Josh Johnson, Max Brosmer. I'm not even going to try to say this.
The Chiefs guy?
Yeah, the Chiefs guy.
I don't know.
So then the question is, how many of these Christmas games do you think you will consume this week?
Every single one of them. In the background while I'm doing other things.
My family will be in Ann Arbor, obviously. My brother is a huge Lions fan.
Will you cover the Kalen DeBoer press conference in Ann Arbor while you're there?
Sure, yeah.
Okay. Hey, by the
I can do
way,
that.
if you get anything on your social media from Sharon Moore, just delete it.
Thanks, Pat.
I am genuine. I will say, maybe it's not as intriguing as it would have been like last year, but I do think Lions and Vikings, that'll be a good game, right?
Yeah.
The Lions are, I mean,
NFC North,
y'all need to win.
We need to win, yeah.
I think that one will be the best game of the bunch, but.
Well, we'll be locked into that one, but then the other two, maybe flip back and forth between that and then like a Christmas Story, that you watch on Christmas.
I feel like the Broncos and Chiefs, if the Titans did what they did to them yesterday,
yeah,
the that's probably going to be ugly.
Yeah, especially the Broncos coming after that loss yesterday.
They're really good.
Did you see what George Payton said at the beginning of the week about Jacksonville being a small market team?
Oh, yeah, and then Liam Cohen said
After the
something like,
game?
not bad for a small market team.
I will say my brother and sister-in-law, they only live about 10 minutes away from campus, so if I see them, I'll let you know.
Let us know if Biff has sleeves on.
Okay.
You talking about Sharon Moore?
No, I'm talking about the boar.
Okay.
Or I guess Sharon, too.
Sharon might be like under house arrest or
I was about
something.
to say, he might be busy.
Maybe.
Oh, he's busy, all right.
I think he's
been busy on social media, apparently.
Yeah.
Not anymore. Well, I'm just saying, I don't know if does he have access to a phone right now?
I would hope not.
I don't know. You need to go read the Athletic story.
I just didn't know if he's still in the same place he was a week ago or if he's back home now.
Some chick online, he tried to get her to fly to Ann Arbor, and she was asking him, how's this going to work out?
Yeah.
You just going to like put me up in a hotel room and I don't get to go anywhere? It's just I'm in the hotel room. And he goes, well, you'll have a driver. So that was nice of Sharon Moore. He's
Very
gonna
nice.
Get her a driver.
The fact you would offer that and expect to not get caught is wild.
All right, let's close out with a couple of questions that have to do with Christmas.
Yes.
Name one location in a cold climate and one location in a warm climate that you would choose to spend Christmas Day if you had the choice. One cold, one hot.
For a cold climate, there's part of me that thinks this would be a massive headache, but it would also be really cool. I would love to be in New York at Christmas time, but I also feel like it would be a giant pain in the butt.
And it's really expensive.
And very expensive. Yeah. But if it's like an ideal, like, I get a vacation, all expenses paid or whatever, I feel like that would be a really cool place to be.
That's a good answer.
I will say I guess this was like 6 or 7 years ago now. I got to spend Christmas when I went to Europe in Paris one year. That was beautiful.
I bet that was amazing.
That was really, really cool. And then for warm place, the Bahamas, because that's the best place in the world.
See, I've spent Christmas in the Bahamas. It's very nice.
I love the Bahamas.
I've also spent Christmas in Hawaii, and I highly recommend that. So for